It's service time.
Let's settle down for a second so I can talk to y'all for a second.
Sit down right here. Sit down right here. I bet you all the people that are watching the live right now, they're like, dang, this Negro finally, finally hold, finally is holding on to his promises.
Yeah, we broke up.
By the way, I think I'm fired. Just to let you know, not off my job, not my off my day job. I'm talking about um the church that I'm working at.
Question. Is there anybody out there single? That broke up with a man and they looking for somebody else right now? You gotta be single. You gotta be single.
You gotta be single.
Single.
Probably got. I gotta probably. I gotta copy some of his techniques. Somebody told me like to get better at singing, I have to what did he say? Like I have to learn. I was talking to the wife of one of the singers that I know, and she was saying that you just gotta. I guess I gotta start off with something simple, and then I gotta sing in the car. Just start off like that, and then work my way up. I forgot what. Oh no, I know which song she told me to do. But anyways,
I know I am. So you gotta be willing to split the difference. Come to America and see me. I come out here to see you in Ethiopia.
this is very fitting. Isn't Abba Ethiopian? Isn't Abba Ethiopian? I could be wrong.
From Ethiopia to America. Let me think. Let me think.
This is funny, man. I can't believe this actually fits. He actually is from Ethiopia.
I got it. Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots?
Girl, would you like to come back with Chris to America?
America. Do you have your passport?
Did you get your shots?
Girl, would you like to come back with Rob to America? America. America. Beautiful.
He said he was before born into a single Muslim.
Get your shots. Who wants to come back with us to America? To America.
Just a reminder to you guys, in that concert, he came up with that song on the spot. Hey, man, this brother can sing and this brother can produce. Like I'm telling you, real talent. But anyways, Enoch said Abba was he said that Abba was before born to a single Muslim woman. He says that passport pick song probably got him too much puniti. Yo, Robert Kelly, man, you know, I'm just saying that's definitely I'm not even gonna hold you. He's definitely one of my inspirations in terms of producing, music making. When Like there's certain people that I listen to see if I'm on the on the right track. You know what I mean? Because R. Kelly, not only has not only does he sing, he also produces, you know, and his songwriting also is top tier, you know. But anyways. But anywho, okay. The Passport Bro original anthem. Now let's get right into it because I think we got her channel up. Let me share the screen with you. Let me share the screen with you. Her name is what's her name? Libby Calian. Right? I'm all for the trolling of ABBA today. So I will be I'm just gonna be calling him a deadbeat. I'm going to do everything in my power. Actually, that's evil to say. I will just say this. I'm just gonna be trolling him. I'm just gonna be trolling him. I just want to see if I can get. I just want to see if I can get an ABBA fan offended. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm here for the smoke. This is not like an Andrew Wilson thing where I'm saying the truth about Andrew Wilson and then I'm just shocked at the response that I'm getting. This one I'm just trolling. I'm just trolling ABBA. The same way I would troll Jesse Lee Peterson back in the day. This one I'm just gonna be trolling him because low key he deserves this coming to him and others like him. He deserves this. People might say they think that's a little bit evil, and I feel you. I get it, but I think ABBA deserves it. And I'll even put it like this: I think the ABBA fans, the ABBA and Preach fans, they got it coming too. All this stuff about defending him and thank you for staying objective. When the other content creators, like I actually saw a couple of other content creators, like even Myron, who I don't even like, where they didn't even drop the hammer on ABBA. They actually felt a little bit bad, and they were just like, "Well, even though it's op and whatnot, this girl is." They basically gave ABBA the benefit of the doubt off rip. I was shocked, at that because I know not only just ABBA, but the ABBA and Preach fans, if any of us were to get into anything similar to what he just got into, and the girl were to come out and say that, they would not give us the benefit of the doubt. Only maybe later on, but not off rip. So I shall not be doing that. I just want to piss off the ABBA and Preach fans, and I want to see the reason why I want to piss them off because I want to see the language that they use. I want to see the excuses that they come up with to defend their boy, right? So here we have the initial response. And I'll say this, for this video to only have 37,000 views right here, for Libby to basically call ABBA a deadbeat and to basically put him on blast, and for her to only get 37,000 views, shows you there are powers that may be that are favorable to ABBA and Preach. Because, dude, if she came out on any other creator, and one of our creators could have been MGTOW adjacent. If she had came out, say, let's say, if she came out on Sandman, not let me not even say Sandman. Let me give me a creator that's demonetized but kind of well known, but he doesn't have 1 million subscribers. A MGTOW adjacent creator. Let me let me because I want to give the audience something to really think about. Give me a creator that's MGTOW adjacent in the chat that doesn't have a million subscribers, but it's pretty well known, but they're also demonetized. Hmm. I gotta think. How about we'll say TFM. We'll say TFM. Say if TFM she came out against TFM, her video would have over 100,000 views. 37,000 views. God, tell me if this makes sense to you. You see, YouTube. So whoever's running YouTube are clearly fans of Abba and Preach, and they're limiting her reach. How does this video only have 38,000 views? Because this is this is a controversial video, and I'm talking about you have plenty of YouTubers that covered this video. How does this original video only have 37,000 views? This is some interesting stuff. Let's look at something else too. Let me open up her and her channel. People should be subscribing to her. She this was a hell of a clout chase. Her recorded phone with Abba. Look at this. Her recorded phone call with Abba. Only 10,000 views. Another video, only 18,000. One thing that stuck out to me, Abba and Preach, I remember they had a beef with Fresh and Fit a while back. And what stuck out to me wasn't the beef, but the YouTube creator. They bragged about this. The one of the top people at YouTube sent Abba and Preach a letter, and they said that, yo, we're big fans of yours. Fresh and Fit, they're not allowed to just give out strikes, so we did something about that. I'm like, whoa, what the whoa. I said time out. Whoa, what is this? What is this? So they got people already in higher places that can favor them in the algorithm. Well, like I because for I remember when that thing happened, I was just analyzing it, and I didn't really have a side with that beef, but that is what stuck out to me. I was like, So I'm like, so we have Myron, who has, well, I didn't think I knew that at the time, but now you have Myron, who's basically backed by the feds, and then you have Abba and Preach, who are basically backed by the people that literally run YouTube. This is some interesting stuff. So there should be no reason why her original videos has this low of a view count. This is some very suspicious stuff by the YouTube algorithm, by the people. They can, and I believe they can limit your reach. I definitely believe in that supposed a conspiracy theory. Because watch this. Because all you got to do is go on YouTube and search up Abba pregnancy, right? Yeah, they're limiting people's views off of this. They're not even letting the federal agent, Poetic Flacco, who's basically a federal agent. Actually, I lied. I mean, Fago. what did C Holcomb call him? Dick in the booty Fago. They're even limiting his reach on this. I'm not Abba and Preach. Obviously, they're not federal agents, but they're clearly backed by the YouTube algorithms, the people that run these things. They're really trying to limit the reach of this story because they understand that even though she's full of cap, they know that this can negatively impact Abba's image. Abba is clearly backed by the people in charge of the YouTube algorithms. Clearly, clearly, because they are limiting the reach of the story. Because I'm talking about there was women that have come out against MGTOW creators or supposed red pill creators who are demonetized, and they got way more views when they would have things like this come out when they started to expose, quote unquote, expose some of these people. This is some interesting stuff. Yeah, Papa Gut only has 4.8 thousand views off of this. This is some interesting stuff. Like even like some of the more A-list, not A-list, but one of the more popular people, they can't even get much views off of this. This is some interesting stuff. This is very, yeah, Chisha said he can only get 46,000 views. Now, this is interesting. This is some interesting stuff. This because this story really should be a lot bigger. They just know the people in charge of these algorithms, these people in the news outlets, they know just even running a story like that can ruin a man's image. They know this. This is some wow. This is I never really put two and two together until now because I'm looking at these views. I'm like, that makes no sense. Everybody knows about the story, but they're telling me this only has how many views it said it got again. Let me look at this. I gotta look at this again. Only 38,000 views. Nah, it should be way more. It should be way more. And then if you go on Abba and Preach's channel, let's take a look at this. If you go on Abba and Preach's channel, when they covered the stream, oh, you see, yep, yep. I think my suspicions are right because look at this. The live video that they addressed the stream, look how many views they have. 464,000 views on the live stream. So now Abba gets to control the narrative about what happened. This was done purposely. This is when you have friends in high places and they can control the algorithm. This is why you because usually when stuff like this happens, like some wacko will come out with a will come out with a story against a celebrity or a creator, and the creator doesn't even have to be well known, but they're gonna get at least they're gonna get at least 60 to 70K views in the first day or two. At least 60K first day. No, sorry, at least really 100K first day. Corey Holcomb's live streams get 100K first 2 days. So you mean to tell me everybody knows about this, but all the views are only going to Abba's live channel? And also, if you notice this, when Libby dropped her video, basically the minute that Libby dropped her video on Abba and Preach went live immediately on their channel. That's another thing that a lot of people don't know. So this is some interesting stuff. I mean, with this kind of knowledge, I don't think I should be subscribed to Abba and Preach anymore. Because now I'm putting the math, I'm putting all of these things together. This is not a far-fetched theory. Shout out to Henoch. He said it's not me to call out a hypocrite. He says Apu never gave anyone the benefit of the doubt. I really hate his ass. Because I know if it was any one of us, they would not give us the benefit of the doubt. If this happened to any of any other red pill creators, they would just run the story. Even if he was quote unquote sticking up for us, they would still be making fun of us, if that makes sense. So I'm like, they're not even letting Federal Flacco. They're not even letting him really run with that story. All the traffic is going to an Abba and Preach live stream. And then let me look at the live stream numbers that they usually get. Yo, they're not even letting. Oh, wow. So only the members get to see their live streams and the numbers that they do on their live streams. So we don't even know the average amount of live streams in terms of the numbers. Okay, right here. The Alba and Sneeko live stream, 284,000 views. The stream 3 months ago. This is some suspicious algorithmic algorithmic behavior. But anyways, I digress. Let's listen to Libby. So this was the video that started all this off. Sorry to go on a tirade like that, but this is way too suspicious. This was way too suspicious.
Hi, my name is Libby, and I was a girlfriend of Abba from Abba and Preach. We were together for 5 months, and
Hold on for a second. Let me make sure this is set up right. Yeah, Federal Fagoria. Shout out to Pyros in the chat. Shout out to Cope Approach in the chat. Yep, I'm surprised. He's surprised she only got 38,000 views. She should have way more. Dude, if she had came out on Hammerhand, forget if she had came out on Hammerhand, what she would have over 100,000 views already. He said, co-approach that I just got off work, can't complain too much. Nah, he's Abba working the backroom operations, or he has the inside scoop on how how YouTube really works. People like that you can't trust. Yeah, DEA, ATF. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm trying to say. So shout out, thank you. I was looking for the analogy, and this is actually a perfect analogy right here. He says this is like the rappers and singers getting Rock Nation to rig the game for them. Like basically anybody that's signed to Rock Nation, they have stuff like this where it's always where the algorithm or the media is always rigged in their favor. XBY Jay-Z says Abba is what the Bible calls a mocker and a scoffer.
involved with each other for about 8 months total, but 5 months of that was a serious, committed relationship. I know when someone thinks 5 months, they think what can really happen in 5 months, but I think most would agree the first 5 months of a relationship can feel very intense and be filled with a lot of love. And that means you can feel the opposite of that intensity if things are not aligning or if things are not compatible. I'm going to be talking about a pregnancy in which Abba ultimately walked away from, and I'm going to be talking about the difficulties and the emotionally harmful interactions I've had with Abba.
Really, everything that she's saying here, that should have already had her having 120, 200,000, like way. It should have her at a similar watch rate as Abba and Preach's live stream of them talking about the situation. Man, that whole algorithm stuff. Because yeah, she's lying. Yeah, she's capping and doing all of that. Yeah, she's stretching it, but I don't care. I'm just interested. Why was her reach limited? This is this is oh man, what did brother Cedric Hatchett, the preacher from Alabama, say? What'd he say? There's some evil being done behind the scenes. Big evil. Like there should be people running with the narrative that Abba's a deadbeat dad. This is already enough.
I want to acknowledge something up front, and that is I know exactly who I'm speaking about. I know exactly who Abba is. Abba is articulate. He is persuasive, and he is calculated. Abba is the king of receipts. And anyone who really knows Abba would not willingly put themselves in the position I'm putting myself in right now.
She's actually right about that. I'm not trolling here. She's actually right about that. People like Abba, people are not gonna openly go against him. OD, because he is very knowledgeable. He is very manipulative. I do agree with that. He understands how the game is played. He is a dangerous player in the game.
Unless their experience was significant enough to speak on. I'm not here to cause spectacle. This is all informational, and I'll just leave it up for interpretation. I met Abba July of 2025 last year, and it was really fun, and it was really interesting, and it was honestly full of love. 4 months into the relationship, I start to see incompatibilities and inconsistencies that made me question the relationship and started to make me feel doubt. Ironically, as I started to
By the way, that noise, that's all going on in her background, not my background. just to let y'all know.
feel those doubts, I found out I was pregnant. I was very nervous, but I knew I wanted to keep the child. I told Abba about the pregnancy, and he was actually very supportive. He was very excited. He always talked about how much he wanted children, and he said he was sure about the pregnancy, and he said that he was always very sure about me. I, however, did not feel sure about Abba. Like I had mentioned, I started to see some core fundamental differences with our values, our lifestyle, and especially how Abba handled things emotionally and how he handled things communicatively.
So there's a lot of people that think that she wasn't pregnant. Yeah, I tend to agree. And then on top of that, she seems, according to many people say that she looks Filipino. She does look Filipino. But she is of Asian persuasion. That's all I know. I know that she's definitely of Asian persuasion. Now, for her to say, "Oh, I was thinking about deleting the kid," that makes no sense. That to me, that makes no sense. The only sense that would make is if there was no kid to begin with. And if that's the case, that means Abba got played, like OD played. Now, this is my opinion. This is what my opinion is. Low key listening to this, and you don't have to follow my lead. I could be completely wrong here. Most women are going to keep Abba's kid if it's potentially his kid, right? In this case, I think in her case, she probably got knocked up by somebody else. If it's not a scam, if we're gonna take her at her word, she probably got knocked up by somebody else while she was messing with Abba, right? But and then she came to him and was like, "Oh, I'm pregnant," and then the reaction that she thought she was gonna get was, "I want you to abort the kid." But since Abba was, I think, because Abba has saw in the past how other dudes, particularly celebrities, they'll be like, "Hey, get that abortion immediately," right? But because Abba was so supportive, it actually drew a lot of doubts and whether or not if that's even his kid, or is he catching on to my scam. And then when she talks about there were certain doubts, she probably found the old video that Abba talked about where Abba was talking about how he actually has a low sperm count. Because I remember Abba was talking about that in one of his earlier videos, and she was probably doing her recon and realized this grift might not work on Abba. You know what I mean? But Abba had the right approach in terms of being fully supportive. So there's no way she can flip it as her being the victim, right? Being trapped in the pregnancy. XVYJC says, I've seen a few people cape and say it's not as bad as Fresh. My question is, what does Fresh situation have to do with this? A lot. L, take your L like a man. I've been saying this too. I'm like, this is exactly the same situation as Fresh, if not worse. You know what I mean? Especially once I might have to do this on a separate stream, but we will definitely look at Abba's response, because I wanted to show you this video and then the phone call. Because once you hear the phone call between her and Abba, I'm literally once you hear that phone call after this video, you're gonna be like, how is Abba not looked at as the bad guy? Everybody else this would have destroyed in anybody else, So this is because the reason why people started bringing up Fresh for some reason, because in Abba's response, he took a cheap shot at Fresh, and he said, "Oh no, my situation, I know this is not me getting involved with a Chinese escort." He took a cheap shot, a low blow at Fresh. So this is when I see things like that, I'm like, oh, he's one of those guys. Like I said, Abba's a sleazeball. but he gets away with it because of his fame, his connections. Preach, I'm not saying I like Preach, but I think deep down Preach is a decent guy. I think Preach is a decent guy, believe it or not. I think Abba's a sleazeball. And then somebody on here on the chat also said that people were saying that Abba was actually jealous of Preach in terms of when it came to his entertainment, when it came to like stand-up comedy. They're saying that apparently Preach is more entertaining than Abba in stand-up, which is some interesting stuff to hear. But it makes sense. It actually makes sense. Panda Man said, did Abba just come up on some money or something? Why is she dragging him now? It because the reason, because most women of today, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you treated them. If she came out on the losing end of it, meaning she didn't get the results that she wanted, you are automatically the villain as the man, right? So the reason why I'm still ripping Abba on this is because he thought his little neutral point of view and him ripping the red pillars was going to save him from encountering evil women like this. You know, but anyway, yeah, Cope approaches Alba is full of himself. XVY Jay-Z says Abba represents the blue pill people and uses the moral pill, so normies will defend him no matter what. Exactly. That's why I'm ripping his ass. Pause.
As time goes on, during the pregnancy, I still start to feel even more anxious and more nervous. And
yes, Pyro, apparently Preach is more loved, or not necessarily loved, but he puts on a better showing than Abba. There's a lot of these people on here that are comedians, that are popular on YouTube or Instagram, but when it comes to that stage, they ain't it. Right? That's a whole other story for another day.
And I think I start to confuse my anxiousness with being with Abba, or moving forward with Abba, with my confusion and anxiousness with the pregnancy and if I wanted to continue the pregnancy or not. And terminating the pregnancy was never in the question. It was something I never wanted to do.
No, because what she wanted to do, if we're taking her at face value, what she wanted to do was originally to keep the baby and then put Abba on child support, but she realized his reach, that he's one of the rare dudes where you can't really make yourself look like the victim. But I tend to believe in the general belief of the normies. I tend to believe with the general belief of the normies that she was never pregnant, which was the same thing that happened to Fresh with Daisy. Daisy was never pregnant.
But as time kept going in the relationship, I still felt like it was pretty rocky. And I talked to Abba and I said, maybe an abortion is something we should do, even if that isn't what I wanted at all. And Abba was not happy with it. Abba was quite disappointed, and he tried to support the decision as much as he could, but you can tell that he was struggling with it a little bit. We make our first appointment for the abortion, and Abba visits me to be there for me, and we don't go through with it that day. And when he leaves,
let me read this chat though. He says Abba seems like a more pretentious comedian that would get mad if the audience didn't get his corny wits. You know, I tend to believe that. I definitely tend to believe that. Like I said, I don't know Preach. I'm just saying from what, like, just my looking at them, the way they do things. Preach will say shit that I definitely disagree with, and that would throw me off. But when I look at his actions, how I see him do things, I'm like, okay, I get a general understanding on how Preach is. And then he basically leaves his stand-up work or his stage work to stage work, and then he'll just his YouTube work to YouTube work, and then he just does his thing. And you'll be surprised when it comes to stage response. I talked about this with the Kings of Comedy. Steve Harvey was supposed to be the headliner for the Kings of Comedy, right? And then they had to literally make him the host because he wasn't even funnier than DL, apparently. And then they found out that Bernie Mac was really, he was just, first of all, they had Bernie Mac opening apparently, or something like that. They had like Sad and Bernie opening, and then they had DL Hughley or something like that, and then they had Steve Harvey closing. That's that's basically a disaster waiting to happen, right? So sometimes, when it goes by popularity, obviously Abba's way more popular than Preach, um, due to Preach has a heavy French accent and all these things. Preach is shorter, things like that. But when it comes to stage, comes to that stage, apparently Preach he be putting on a decent show. They probably expected a little bit better from Abba, and he's probably not really the real deal when it comes to comedy. It's a lot of people like that. But anyway, let me actually rewind it because I wanted to highlight a point
Tried to support the decision as much as he could, but you can tell that he was struggling with it a little bit.
right
What I
here.
wanted at all. And Abba was not happy with it. Abba was quite disappointed, and he tried to support the decision as much as he could, but you can tell that he was struggling with it a little bit. We make our first appointment for the abortion, and Abba visits me to be there for me, and we don't go through with it that day.
So it's very interesting. I used to tell people this. Women are going to do the opposite of what you do, of how you react, particularly when it comes to abortion. You'll be like, if Abba went like, remember with Fresh was like, hey, nah, we got to delete the kid. And she ended up recording him and trying to make him look bad. But that usually, the same thing that happened with Anthony Edwards. She comes out pregnant, and then he said, nah, delete it. Delete his fetus immediately. But out of spite, they will keep the kid. Now, it's interesting. I've seen a lot of other videos where the guy is begging the girl to keep the kid, and she goes through with the baby deletion, right? So it's weird how that works. So from all, intents and purposes, it looked like Abba did everything right, actually.
And when he leaves,
He even visited her, flew all the way to where she's at to the what they call the hitman's office. But when you're looking at the situation, long distance relationship, you was messing with her a couple of times and she's saying she's pregnant. Yeah, you gotta, of course, the general populace is gonna just believe that she was never pregnant to begin with. That basically she was just basically playing Abba the whole time, which is very similar to Fresh's situation. But anyways,
I make another appointment, and I cancel that one. And I think in total I canceled 3 abortion appointments. And I think, maybe I should give it more time and see if my feelings change. And so I set an appointment for after the trip I had planned to Montreal to visit Abba.
Yeah, if you keep canceling abortion plans and he visiting you and then you cancel it, yeah, you were never pregnant. You were never pregnant, or you did get knocked up at some certain point, but it was with somebody else's kid and you found out, or you thought you got knocked up, but then you were like, nah, it couldn't have been with Abba. Abba's being way too supportive. I can't make him the villain in this one. But anyways,
I visit Abba in Montreal, and we get into our biggest fight. And this was a real turning point for me. And I know it's hard to imagine Abba upset, but he does get there. And not only does he get there, he goes past the point of the threshold of where anger should stop. Abba resorts to name calling and degrading language, and resorts to ridicule and mocking, and it does teeter on the emotionally and.
Let me see this. XYJZ said, what was her plan to fake a pregnancy, for money or blackmail? Both. But it didn't work out as she thought. Abba's not the average dude. Meaning he's not just the average Negro entertainer that you can just drag through the mud. Like, you see how Anthony Edwards' reputation still kind of got hit a little bit. You know what I mean when I say that. So there's certain people that have backings, and their reputation can never really get These are the good. Like, remember, the good guys are already selected. The bad guys are already selected. These things are already predetermined by people in the background. This is what I try to teach. I said, is Abba black? Well, meaning obviously not FBA. You know what I mean? but just just in skin tone, in skin tone.
Verbal abusive side, and I hate to put a label on it like that, but that is truly what it felt like. And
Here we go. Verbal abuse. Verbal abuse. I'll take her word for it. Let me take her word for it.
Don't take my word for it. I will be posting examples in this video or the next video. After that trip, I realized
after I gave the benefit of the doubt, she said, "Don't take my word for it. You can't make this stuff up if you tried, bro." Oh man.
that I always wanted to keep the child, and it was the relationship that needed to be looked at. And so I canceled that last appointment, and I call Abba and I tell him, I'm so sorry for the back and forth, but it was never in my values to terminate the pregnancy. I think I'm anxious about us, and I think it's better if we co-parent. And I was thinking about the kind of environment I would like to raise my child in and everything like that. So Abba's really upset. And
yeah, so she said that because she knew that was going to get Abba upset. Not necessarily because of her going back and forth with, that's part of that. But when you have a broad that's canceling abortion appointments and then coming back up to you talking about co-parenting, that's and that's in encoded language. That means, we can co-parent, but I'm going to put you on child support. That's what that means, right? So she knows, but that saying that is going to trigger Abba, so she can finally make herself the victim. So even if she's not pregnant, even if she knows she's not pregnant, she knows saying that is going to trigger most men. I don't think I'm going to go through with the abortion. Let's. I think we shouldn't. I don't think we should be together, and I think we should co-parent. AKA, she's going to stay where she's at in America, in whatever state she's in. People are saying that apparently that she lives in California too, which is crazy work. So that putting that California child support on Abba. Oh Lord, have mercy. So whenever a woman says, okay, we're gonna break up, maybe we should co-parent, that's, in other words, child support. So all of these things compounding, that's obviously gonna trigger most men. And she got the reaction that she wanted then.
And we hang up, and he tells me to get the abortion. And he tells me, I don't have anything to say, just get the abortion, and I'll wait for the abortion updates. And I said, I will consider keeping you, I will keep you updated. I will consider what you said over the phone about having the abortion. My values were to ultimately not get it. And he said, just so we're clear, if you change your mind for the 10th time, I will not be involved. And then I kind of snap back a little bit and I'm like, then don't be. And then he blocks me, and he blocks me for an entire day. And I'm so sorry for the construction in the background. I have to make sure to speak loud. Sorry about that. I said, hey, I need to talk to you about the baby. I'm still blocked. And I told my cousin to message him to unblock me. And he says, hey, I unblocked you for a second to say, stop contacting me.
I would say maybe she did it for the love of the game, because you got, okay, so Adam Adu said, did she disclose how much she got paid for all of this? I think she just did this for the love of the game. I just think hoes are so, they always think that they're going to get their way until they come across the wrong one or the right one, per se. There's certain dudes you can't just defame their character. So like back in the day, you'll have people like a Abba, there's certain athletes you can't defame, right? I've always mentioned that, analogy. Or certain politicians you can't defame. Barry O is a perfect example, right? Anytime any of these dudes came up and was talking about, oh, yo, we used to sleep together, they ended up going missing, right? Mr. C, the saxophone player, anybody that tried to go up against him, they ended up missing. So back in the day, that's what would happen. But nowadays, everything is too open. There's too much cameras, too much eyes. So you'll have a certain accuser, they'll come out against somebody else, and then they will strike them down Sleepy Joe's another example. Remember the woman that came out and put accusations on him, and even the Me Too woman took took Sleepy Joe's side and said that we need to look at all the evidence before we come to conclusion. So they basically slut shamed her out of the United States. She had to leave the country. But hoes are so this is something, it's so, this is so interesting. Hoes are so, they just think they can get away with anything, and they don't understand how this stuff works. Like, you can't just pull that scam on anybody, right? It's that you can't just do. Like, there's certain people, they're put there to be the good guy, quote unquote. Remember, I showed you there's a live stream I did a while ago. It was a woman who was a nurse. She said her mom was a stripper and that she used to sleep with this politician. And she was asking for justice for her mom because she used to her mom used to sleep with a politician, and then her mom went missing. She was found deleted. And I was like, bro, you can't be scamming certain politicians. They will have your ass deleted or missing. Right? Now, in Abba's case, he can't just do that. You just can't really do that nowadays unless if you're the saxophone player, right? But there's other ways to do that to ruin your credibility, limit your growth in the YouTube algorithm. There's other ways to do to limit. But that, we this is some deep stuff. Hopefully, I don't get hurt off of this because just like there's certain people just think it's just the outright bad guys that are doing dirt. It's the people that are supposedly the purported good guys, and they be doing the most dirt. Their background is too squeaky clean. I'm talking about nobody has until you start peeling back the layers. XVY Jay-Z says, Chris, have you ever had a pregnancy scare? Should I disclose that? I'll let you guys figure that out for yourselves. I don't think I should even disclose that. I don't think I should disclose that. Pyro says, I'm not ending the kid no more. Just give me my 18 years of child support monthly and we're good. If once you hear that phone call that I'm going to show you after this video, once you hear that phone call, it's the language that Abba uses in the phone call. You're going to be like, wait a minute, how is Abba like, how is he not look like that's a bad guy, right? Ellis is here said Bo, yeah, he said Barrio defamed himself. This doesn't need help, but like I said, it doesn't matter because those people got deleted and they got defamed. You know what I mean? XVYJZ said, I've gotten a pregnancy scare, and I said I'm definitely getting a vasectomy. You know, somebody said he said, Chris, the scare is terrifying. But anyways.
Regardless of what you choose, I will never decide to keep in contact with you. You're not my responsibility. Now don't reach out to me again. And then if you guys are reading this, I'll mention what's going on here in a minute. But I said, why did you block me after you wanted updates? He says, because I don't want updates. Sorry, I wasn't clear, so I'll be clear. I don't want to ever hear from you again. He says, keep it or don't. I don't need updates. If you do this solo, good luck. If you don't, keep it. Great.
And then obviously, everything that Abba got himself into so far, where we're looking at it from her side, these are all the things that we warn dudes about in the so-called red pill space. Women keeping screenshots against you. Look at all the screenshots in her desktop that she got. Look at if you guys can take a closer look. Let me give you a closer look. Look at all the screenshots that she has in her background already loaded up like she's a goddamn hacker or something. your woman, the woman that you love, or a woman you think you feeling, she's stacking up evidence against you. But when we talk about things like this, this is why you gotta troll the ABBA supporters. You gotta troll them. You gotta be like, but she has all this evidence. Surely she can't be lying. And I just want to see the reaction. I want to see if they start using the language that we be using. The stuff that, oh, we're just bitter and hurt. The reason why we harking on stuff like this is because any woman in America can put you through this. And not only can they put you through this, there's no legal recourse against what she's doing. That's the difference. That's the difference. This is why this is like very important. Women filing for child support, back to back to back to back motions, back to back. This is not illegal stuff. Women keeping your kids from you. This is not, there's no punishment for that. They say there is, but there's not. You got to spend real money. Like, I'm talking about real money that most American men don't have to keep her from OD stealing, like literally trafficking your child from you. But this is interesting.
And then he blocks me again. And I am so exhausted at this point on how Abba handles conflict and how he resorts to shutting down and avoidance and stonewalling. And especially at a time that is very critical and sensitive, I just want to show you this. So this kind of will show you an example of Abba's volatility a little bit. I think within the span of 4 months of our relationship, I think I was blocked like 100 times. And I typed in the word block in my search history for my messages. And the first time
how she get blocked 100 times? Sounds like they had a little bit of a toxic relationship going on.
he blocked me was in August 7th, the beginning of August, and I think we met in the middle of July. And this was just 3 weeks after we met. And so then he blocks me again at the end of August, and then a few times in September, and then October and November and December. And anytime that you see the word blocked on my end, I'm just telling him like, hey, can you unblock me? You still have me blocked from Instagram or something. And that doesn't stop there. I now type in the word blocking, which is different from blocked, but I still have a bunch of where he's like, I'm blocking you here. And I put blocking here because I didn't block him here. I was telling him like, hey, you keep blocking. And yeah, so now I'm blocked.
Hold on for a sec. Do I have the thing back? But anyway.
And I'm upset. I am 9 months pregnant. I'm feeling emotional. I'm hormonal, all these changes. And I don't want to blame it on that specifically because I knew that I was also exhausted from the dynamic of Ab and I. And so this is a blemish.
I want to actually kind of skip past the screenshots. I want to skip past a lot of the screenshots. Oh yeah, this is her also with the phone recording. I'm going to skip that because she actually has a whole separate video for the phone recording.
And one thing I realized about Abba is Abba thinks a certain way. Abba also likes things done a certain way. And if things are not followed through in the way that he wants, you will see a reaction from him. And, this is one of those times like I'm not responding and he is.
Well, that's because allegedly Abba actually wanted to do this the right way. So he said that if I ever got a girl pregnant, I would have a family and all this stuff. So he actually wanted to do things the right way. He was going to have her, try to set her up right, but he found out that this bitch is crazy, So once he finally put 2 and 2 together in terms of what type of broad he was dealing with, he had to get his defenses in control. He had to let his supervisor know that he's in a little bit of trouble. And get ready basically for the blow up. Get ready for her big public reveal, So it's very clear he had the defense force ready. He knew that this was OD coming. He let his supervisor know, and then he had his defenses ready. So shout out to Abba for recognizing early.
Insulting me, saying I'm doing all these things and I'm not, doing those things. I'm like, I'm not getting engaged with this type of communication, but he does lash out. And I thought about the pregnancy and I thought, Abba never cared about the child. He only cared about this dream that he had. But that's not really how it works. We both have this responsibility, and I didn't do it the way I didn't do it the way he pictured it, and I can understand that also. But this is so far removed from what he would support on his channel and promote on his channel, and so um, I said I left you alone since I reached out to Preach a month ago, and
Shout out to Reaper Rel in the building.
he's saying like, no, you're like still calling me, and I'm still trying to reach him. I said, no, I never called you. I said, I've left you alone since like my last contact with Preach. I said you didn't want anything to do with the baby. I said, okay. I said, I'm not gonna. Still haven't apologized for abandoning me and our baby. I only apologize, and he said because it's your fault. You cut me out of the relationship and the fatherhood. I'm saying I have to go now, okay? And he said, I have always.
What I'm trying to emphasize is usually hoes with all those receipts, usually they get more they get more like they like they'll get a lot of how do I say it? They'll get a lot of clout off of it. She only got 38,000 views off of this. But then also look at how many comments she has. She has 1,671 comments, but only 38,000 views. Does that make sense to you guys? They're high. Who is Abba connected to in YouTube? I know he's already connected to somebody higher up in YouTube. He already bragged about it a couple years ago. But who is he really connected to? Like, this is some interesting stuff. How does she have all this engagement but only 38,000 views? That guys, this makes no sense. She has all this engagement, but yeah, only 502 likes, but 1,000 and something comments, and only 38,000 views. This is some interesting stuff, man. But here, this 37-minute phone call. You gotta listen to this phone call. You gotta listen to this phone call. He said the red pill proven right again. But this is why they're trying to come in front of this. No homo. Watch this. They don't want to say the red pill is right on this situation. They don't want to say that. This is why they're trying to OD come across this, and they just kind of write her off as this is just this crazy lady that he just met, and he got caught up with this crazy lady that scammed him. That's how they're trying to come across, so they don't have to address any of the things that what happens, when you're dealing with certain types of women and stuff like that. This is why they're trying to come across this very quick, and they're trying to nip this in the bud. They're trying to write this off as this is a crazy lady. Oh no, this is no. This is the average broad. The average broad have the power to pull this, and they often, if given the option, they'll take that option. So this is why it's very interesting that they're really limiting her reach. That's very interesting to me. But anyways.
All right, so this is my third video, and Abba gave me permission to reveal the phone call. And I decided to record this phone call in the first place because the first 5 minutes I really couldn't believe what he was saying about the pregnancy. In this phone call, you're going to hear Abba say, I'm harassing him, I'm a parasite, I'm a stalker, and that he just wants me to leave.
What I'm going to do for this one, I might have to slow this one down a little bit.
Him alone. It does sound like I'm bugging him for days and for weeks. It wasn't like that at all. If he has proof, he can prove that. This is only 3 hours after the actual breakup of me saying I wanted to co-parent.
So she recorded specifically the reaction of her saying, I want to co-parent. Like I said, when you're a person of some money or some fame, of any of these things, if you got clout, and then all of a sudden you with a broad and she's canceling the abortion appointments, and then all of a sudden coming out saying, I want to co-parent, that means she's going to put you on child support. And then I'm going to raise the kid by myself, but I'm going to need your money to do it. That's what she means by co-parenting. That's going to trigger most men. Probably, yeah, that's going to trigger 98% of men. And she knew this, and that's why she recorded it. But this is why they want to come. They're trying to intercept the story because they don't want to listen to. They don't want to hear from us right now. They're really not trying. They're not trying to hear what we have to say about this. But anyways,
He also talks about the blackmailing, which I never do, and I never did do. And one of the other things he mentions is that I'm contacting his friends, his family, and his people. This is 3 hours after the actual breakup. A few days later, so this just anger. I witnessed it a lot afterwards. Numbers that he
Mother, anything involving
admin preach page, and the 4 phone numbers that he was talking about, like bugging him. I don't think they sent more than one message each, so it was like 4 messages, and that's it.
I just want you gone. Can you leave me alone?
So
damn. She knows he was triggered. The first thing he says, I just want you gone. Just please leave me alone. Interesting.
So you don't want?
I want nothing from you. I don't want anything with the child. I don't want anything from you. I don't want anything. I will never want to learn a damn thing about anything involving us.
But why don't you want anything to do with the baby?
Because you're the mother.
But what did I do?
You'll never know. I'll never explain it to you.
So I told you how I felt.
Hey, no. I don't care. I don't want to hear your explanation. You're not convincing me. We're not having a long conversation. I ask one thing of you. And it sounds like you don't want to respect it. That's what I'm learning. You're going to keep contacting me, contacting my family. You're going to keep sending your friends to blackmail me. That's what it sounds like.
I didn't
say. You want money? I said fine. You want money? I said fine. You want money? That's fine. You send a letter in the mail. Do that way. It's fine.
Are you talking about child support? Or are you talking about like?
Yes, you want your money? I'll send your money. You have a legal obligation? I'll send money. I don't care. I will never spend time with anybody involving you.
Damn. So, low key, Myron. What's his name? I almost called him Myron. Alba sounded like Myron right here. I want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with you or anything related to you. I just want you gone. I'm willing to pay you money to leave me alone. Anybody else, they would be called, if this was any of us, they would call us deadbeats for saying this, right? This is basically the Tommy Sotomayor method right here. And it played out in living color. If she's just Odie, just trying to take you to child support or just take your money, and co-parent with you, Tommy said, just give her the money and then just don't be in the kid's life. So this is basic. So Abba right here is sounding like Abba Sotomayor. This is some interesting stuff. This really should actually be, this look like a phone call like this would literally end anybody else's career, really. But this is interesting.
I'll never look them in the face. I will not learn any names. They will never know me. I will never know them. I'm going to make my own family. I'm going to move on with my life, and they will have nothing to do with me that includes you. Anything.
Damn, you hear what Abba is saying though? You hear what Abba is saying? Yo, let me rewind this for y'all. Hold on.
Yes, you want your money? I'll send your money. You have a legal obligation? I'll send the money. I don't care. I will never spend time with anybody involving you. So, I will never look them in the face. I will not learn any names. They will never know me. I will never know them. I'm going to make my own family. I'm going to move on with my life, and they will have nothing to do with me that includes you.
I'm going to have my own family. I'm going to move on with my life, and they're going to have nothing to do with you. If this was any of us, they would have been calling us deadbeats. How is he getting away with this? How is he getting away with this? Yo. Shout out to King Pig 6 in the chat. He says the manosphere haters are always failed players. His LMAO, he looked like a goofy in this profile picture. Well, Abba is a goofy in general. Adam A dude, he says, Chris, do you think this guy is going to start preaching like Myron? Those guys, it's a complicated answer, kind of. They're because what they're trying to have, remember when the YouTube people or the people in charge of you had like people in politics, or you had Gavin Newsom's wife, right? They were trying to say we need to control the algorithms to where if a boy is searching for a male role model, guys like a Abba shows up instead of a Fresh and Fit type. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Even though I'm not a fan of Fresh and Fit, I'm just using that as an example, right? So somebody like that comes up, or instead of a Steph is cold, right? Because remember, as watered down Steph is cold is, he still made the terrorist watch list, the top 10 on the DHS watch list. You had Steph is cold on the terrorist watch list. I'm laughing like my ass off in my head with that. But this is what they're trying to do. They want Abba to be that guy of like a Scott Galloway type. If you know what I'm saying. Like so if a guy's going through something, his face pops up, not one of ours, not one of us, right? So that's the goal. The positive. These are the positive masculine phenotypes or prototype. I don't know if I'm saying the masculine role models to look at. That's what they're trying to do with Abba. Pyro says Abba is the same coin and Myron just two sides of the same rusty coin. I agree. I agree. They low key kind of look. They could actually pass off as brothers, low key, or related. Well, because Abba is Ethiopian. He has the Ethiopian background. Myron has a Sudanese background, so there might be something to that. But anyways, Adam Adu said he gave me a $5. Well, let me not say me. He gave the channel a $5 super chat. Shout out to that. Shout out to Adam Adu. Let me get the soundbite ready.
Donations. Gifts. More gifts.
He said, I'm canceled just listening to this. The stuff that you're hearing Abba say right now, these are the things that we got called, toxically masculine for saying something even similar to this. He's saying, look, I don't want you in my life. I don't care if you have my kid or not. Just leave me out of it. I'm just going to give you my money and just move on with my life. I'm going to have my own family. I'm not putting words in Abba's mouth. This is what he said. This type of talk, like Tommy Sotomayor, he can't even have a channel no more. He literally can't have he has like how many channels he done got deleted? How about this? When Corey Holcomb says similar, they say, oh, something wrong with him for saying stuff like this. But Abba gets to get away with this. Look at the stuff that he's saying. This is some interesting stuff, man.
Anything tethered to you, anything connected to you, I want nothing.
Because I told you how I felt 5 months in, and
I don't care about your explanation. You can say whatever you want. You will never know why. I don't owe you a thing. We're done. You ended our relationship. I accepted it. I didn't fight you. I didn't argue.
But you told me you wanted me.
Oh, no, Jen.
You told me to keep you updated on whether or not I was going to keep the baby.
So that was a mistake on my part. I'm sorry for that. I don't want to hear you.
And so you said you don't care if I keep it or not. After
But keep it or not. I told you I don't want.
I know. Yeah, Tommy. He said Tommy does kind of go far off sometimes. He does. We know. I've already addressed that on the channel. But I'm just saying in terms of the language that he uses. No, it's no different from Abba right here. No different. But the Abba and Preach fans, they're just gonna ignore this and say there's nothing wrong with where he's coming from because this is a crazy lady. You see what they're doing? Like, I know what they're trying to do. I know exactly what the algorithm. I know what they're trying to do with this. It's not going to work. Oh man, hell no. Anyway, I'm sounding like one of my older. I had this autistic friend. Well, not a friend. I knew this autistic kid growing up. Yeah, like he used to have me laughing anytime we try to set him up. We would try to set him up for him to get triggered because it would be so funny. He'd get triggered. He'd be like, "I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to work." It's not going to work. Oh man, good times.
You keep it, that would make me feel better, you know what I'm saying? But even if they decide to keep it, whatever. Paying child support for a kid I don't want to just because it's connected to you, don't feel that great.
But what did
I'll pay the child support because it's my responsibility, but I don't want anything to do with you.
Because what did I do?
Whatever. But I don't never know. I don't owe you anything. I'm ready to move on. I'm just waiting for you to leave me the fuck alone. So, keep the kid, don't keep the kid, that's your choice. I don't know how to say that, so I'm not going to talk to you about it. If you keep it, send a letter in the mail, I'll send the money. If you don't, thanks for the word.
Yo, he sounded like Corey Holcomb. Yo, Abba sounded like Corey Holcomb, man. Remember Corey? Oh no, there's a freestyle Corey Holcomb dropped like literally a decade ago. He said, "I don't want to be your man, all I wanna. I don't want to be your man, but I want to fuck. I don't want to be your man, but I want to fuck. Papers coming in the mail, damn bitch. I'm a duck." That's literally what Abba said. That's literally what he said. How is he getting away with this?
So you have to choose. What do you want to do? You'll have to figure that out. I'm not going to be part of that conversation. But I will never visit the kid. The kid will never visit me. I'll never know who they are. He will never know me. I promise.
Damn. He said, "I will never visit the kid. They will never know me. Papers coming in the mail, bitch. I'm a duck."
So like you telling me all this stuff and like you yelling at me and saying these things. Like,
yeah, I'm yelling at you because you blackmailed me. So I'm going to yell.
I didn't
because you keep
blackmail you.
You keep harassing me. So yeah, I'm not yelling because you're harassing me. I'm not upset about that.
I should trigger some of the ABBA fans and be like, "Hey, no. She didn't blackmail him. That's an excuse. You need to fight to see your kid." I'm a trigger one of them ABBA fans. I should definitely do that one day. I gotta do that. And I just want to see the language that they use. It's probably like, I gotta troll. I really gotta troll heavy. I'm gonna do it this summer. I'm gonna be talking reckless about ABBA. I'm gonna be in public. I'm gonna have my phone out. Hey, this is Chris and Mike live in Times Square. We smoking on the ABBA pack out here. Him being a deadbeat dad. What do you mean? Who's ABBA's not? He's a good. I just, hey man. But anyways, shout out to Pyro with the $2 super chat.
Donations. Gifts. More gifts.
He says this dude Abba is definitely done with this woman. Abba's response, if you notice, this is the stuff that there were women would use. Like, there were videos before of women videotaping men in that same state, that same anger state, where they're saying, "I don't want to have nothing to do with you or the kid." And women would post those guys' videos, and and guys like that would get roasted in the comments. Let me actually look at the comment section as we speak. Let's look at the reaction. So now look at this. This is some interesting stuff. Look at the reaction. You have the woman. They're saying that, oh, look at this comment right here. You have to be mentally ill to not see how justified his response is in this phone call. You painted yourself as someone who cared for his feelings and wouldn't betray him. He fell in love with you. You present him with a conservative profile with no male engagement and make him unfollow women you deem a threat. You tell him if you ever got pregnant, you keep the baby, blah, 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 blah. She's basically giving him a bullet point response of why Abba is right to feel the way that he feels. Now, back at any time, dudes would have similar videos, and I would say the same thing, and people would say that, "Oh, I'm a deadbeat." They would say that I am encouraging deadbeat behavior. You see, another woman, she says, "I'm a woman, and Abba's reaction is just human. For anyone who has ever been manipulated and had the rug pulled out from under them over something huge and important, this is the honesty of that pain." So where is that grace for most of the, like, literally most men? When I say there's no such thing as a deadbeat dad, or when men have similar responses and women will put their men on blast for having this response, where were these hoes then? like I said, it's okay. It's not okay with men. Like men, most men, we're not allowed to say this. What Abba said, we're not allowed to say this. This is some interesting stuff. Because this phone call right here, these things that he's saying, that would end. I'm not gonna say it's gonna end most people's careers, but it would definitely put a blight on most people's careers. This phone call right here. This is some interesting stuff, man. He says Abba looks like a scammer Pookie with that profile. CB12345 says Abba is a clown in my book, regardless if he is the father or not. But apparently, according to Libby, she said that she ended up aborting the kid anyways. She ended up just going through with the abortion, apparently. So that's according to her. So we're just taking her word for it. Let me see. CB1, he says Myron is rubbing his hands like Birdman right now. Yeah, he already went. Well, really, Myron actually took it easy on him. I saw his response to it. Because even he tried to be fair about the situation. He gave Abba the benefit of the doubt and said, "Oh yeah, this bitch crazy." Right? But I just know if the roles were reversed, I know if the roles were reversed, he'd be putting us on blast. I know if this happened to any other, red pill adjacent creator, they'll be doing a video about it, trying to get cheap views off of it. He said Myron won, Abba preached lost. So I do agree with that though. I'm talking about in the long term. Myron might have lost the battle at first when it came to them. But anybody with two eyes understand that Myron won the war here. Between that, whatever beef that they had, they won the war. That's why he had to mention Fresh in there. Him and the Chinese escort. Yeah, he took that L. That's how you know. Because if Abba was like an actual real stand-up dude, he would actually mention Myron's name as well and be like, you know what? I got to give him his propers. I got. But just like Fresh. That would actually give me respect for Abba. But no, he doesn't even mention Myron's name. He mentions Fresh name and says, nah, this is not like Fresh's situation of me getting caught up with it. Just to take a cheap shot at Fresh, but then not mention Myron's name at all. You're like, oh, okay. Like I said, this boy here is not a stand-up dude. You know what I mean? Pyro says, wow, where was all this energy for all the men who went through all of this? Man, they came out strong for Abba. Yeah, it's very interesting. But particularly when it comes to women, they're not gonna care about our issues. I've always said this on this channel. They don't care about men's issues until it's a man that they look up to, a male celebrity that they like, or their brother, or their dad. It's got to be directly. It has to be directly affecting them. So because Abba is the purported good guy, all the normies are like, oh my God, he's being done wrong. And now they're sounding, and in their defense, and them trying to defend Abba, they're sounding like us. But when we use these same arguments, we get our channels demonetized, we get strikes on our channels, right? We get our viewership limited, our reach limited. It's very interesting. So CB said, nah, deadbeat parents definitely exist, both moms and dads. I'm of the belief that there's no such thing as a deadbeat dad. That's just the conclusion I came to One, because I didn't know Jesse Lee Peterson said it first, so I have to give him his props when I said this. I didn't know Jesse Lee Peterson said this, and it was interesting to me that, you know, Jesse Lee Peterson has a big fan base, but that video of him talking about there's no such thing as a deadbeat dad, it's like his lowest viewership count. So it just shows you the prime, even the, you know, the so-called based, you know, dudes, you know, the white dudes that love to, or the white or Hispanic and Asian dudes that like to watch his channel, they watch his channel so he can shit on black people. That's why they love Jesse Lee Peterson's channel. But for some reason, when it comes to that specific opinion of deadbeat, there's no such thing as a deadbeat dad, he doesn't get an amen from his crowd. It's very interesting to me. So I've been running with that since 2022. Yes, since 2022, I've been running with that. And it's interesting the response that I get from all sides of people, of all races, of all backgrounds. But it actually makes sense. At the end of the day, especially in 2026, women decide who gets born. They choose the men that they sleep with. It's either A, they had a decent dude. He wasn't perfect, but he was a decent dude. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't tall enough. He didn't make that much money, but he was a decent dude. It's either that, or B, you was messing with somebody that you should have not. You were messing with somebody that you knew you were taking a risk with. You were OD taking a risk. You knew you shouldn't have been messing with that player, dude, and you got caught up. It's either A or B. That's it. That's it. There's no C here. There's no C here. There's no C here. It's either A or B. You had a decent dude. He wasn't perfect, but he was a good father. He was a decent dude. He wasn't perfect. He was a decent dude. Or B, you was messing with a dude that you knew he had the leverage over you, or you knew he was a player. You knew something was. You were intrigued by the dude, but you didn't really do your background research on the dude. It's either A or B. A lot of hoes choose B and then they play victim afterwards. I don't want to hear it. Especially in 2026. Especially in 2026. I do not want to hear it. There's no such thing as a deadbeat dad. Not in 2026. Nope. Oh, man. Let me see. CB12345 says if they didn't exist, the word abandonment wouldn't exist, and foster homes would be non-existent. Like I said before, it's either A or B. It's either A or B. By the way, a kid's parent could die. You know, that's not abandonment. They could end up in a foster home. you know what I mean? Or they people get arrested, and even then, even if you're dealing with a parent that gets arrested, you still got to look at the mom and be like, why were you dealing with a dude that got? I keep saying it's either A or B. It's either A or B. It's either A or B. Women brag about, man, they all talk about, they all know a dude that would literally drop everything to cater to what she wants and all that. They all brag about knowing a dude like that and the simp that they have in their back pocket, and yet they still end up becoming single moms. How? No, because I didn't no. You see this? So he says homeless shelters wouldn't be a thing if nobody is a deadbeat parent. No. I said there's no such thing as a deadbeat dad. There's deadbeat moms. There's no such thing as a deadbeat dad. Bit controversial. You don't have, like I said, you don't have to agree with that, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to that. I was sticking to well, what did that girl say? I'm legally blind. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Mama, I love you. P.O.P. Hold it down. Oh man. Like I said, it's not a popular thing to say. It's not a popular thing to say. I completely understand. I could like trust me. But as I like, because mind you, Reaper Rail also agrees with you too. You know what I mean? So it's not like this is not a shared opinion. But the reason I'm also running on this opinion because it's interesting the amount of people that are afraid to say it. Even that, like, I'm talking about people that I would have thought would be behind it. I'm like, oh damn, they, to explore that dynamic or to even explore that statement, they don't even want to touch it. Adam A. Dude said after that comedian guy and his wife Myron. Oh no, he says after that comedian guy. Oh, you talking about Akash? Yeah, after Akash and all of that, yeah, Myron is taking W's right now. I ain't even gonna hold you. When the worst person you know is right. What's that meme? Was like when the worst person you know is right. They was taking that L on that podcast. They was taking a huge L, to the normies, obviously. Because I watched that interaction. I saw that. I saw that specific the two interviews I remember seeing. I saw that and then the one that they did with Brittany Renner. That one was funny. But anyways, let me hit play on this.
I needed my cousin to text you because there is a baby and you blocked me.
Yeah, whatever. You're harassing me. You have your friends trying to blackmail me. You're harassing me. You don't want to stop. So you're sending messages to the page. You're sending a business partner. You're doing all this goofy ass shit. So like, it's fine. You're harassing me. So you got a problem yelling. I don't really give a shit.
You don't think that I need to contact you?
I don't care. You can say justified. Maybe believe it's justified. I don't give a fuck. You're harassing me.
So if my friends see that you said you don't.
I don't care your explanation for why. Okay. You send your friends to blackmail me. Move on. What do you want to talk about?
I didn't send my friends to blackmail you. Don't you think?
Okay, you did.
By the way, I think later on in the phone conversations, he probably started to catch on that he was being recorded. But man, whenever you hear a broad, I'm talking about you on a phone call with a broad, and she's asking you to repeat things that what you said. Can you say it clearly? She's remember that Boondock scene? What's her name? Jasmine wearing a wire. What's that scene again? Here we go.
What is wrong with this person? Hey,
Riley? May I sit down over there next to Riley? What are you guys talking about?
Man, if you got, man, this is why you got to really limit your conversations, particularly when you're dealing with women that that are the enemy of you. Like they will record you. But that's as soon as I'm hearing how she's speaking, it literally reminded me of that scene. Can I speak to Riley? Can I speak to Abba? Can you please repeat what you said about you not wanting to be in the kid's life? If she telling you that you should know that she's recording you. Remember when Dwight got recorded by that dude? Remember when Dwight got recorded by that gay dude that exposed him? And Dwight started catching on. He's like, "Oh, you got me." By the end of he's like, "You got me." But just during the whole phone conversation, Dwight, there's AIDS, Dwight. You out here dirty dicking dudes, Dwight. He just kept saying his name and then telling him to repeat himself. I'm like, oh, bro, you gotta catch on. You getting recorded, bro. You getting recorded.
You'll never convince me otherwise. You're a blackmailer as far as I'm concerned.
Don't you think they would?
Hey, there's nothing to argue about. You can't convince me. Stop.
Don't you think they would already
You're a
have done something?
blackmailer. I don't want a child with a blackmailer for sure. So that's how I see
so
it. That's
even-
the end of that story.
So
There's no conversation. We're not talking about that.
okay,
You're not convincing me, and I'm not going to listen to your explanation.
okay, you don't have
I'm
to.
not listening.
You don't
I'm
have
not
to
going to hear
listen.
it. So move on.
You don't have to
Move
listen.
on.
But you say
All right, then I'll just mute the call. I'll mute the call and go ahead and talk.
But you see how she's trying to speak slowly and trying to like, I think Abba started calming down, and then he probably started getting his senses together, and he's like, you know what? I think she's trying to set me up. She's trying to set, and that's how I remembered Daisy from, I think, last year or 2 years ago. That's how Daisy set up Fresh to look like the bad guy, right? Now, except in this case, Abba kind of said worse, low key, but you know, depending if you're already, you know, the good guy or the bad guy in the you know, in the court of public opinion, there's no difference to what he said and what Fresh said. I don't even know why women were mad at Fresh. I don't know why women get mad at dudes when they say, "Don't you consider abortion?" I thought all these hoes was pro-choice. They all you leave it up to all these hoes. They the way they be fighting for abortion, and then when a dude suggests it, all of a sudden they turn Catholic. It's very interesting.
Listen to the damn word you're about to say for the next 30 seconds. And when I unmute it, you can tell me anything else.
When you say unmute, you're saying like you can't hear me?
You hear the questions that she's asking? Like, he definitely at this point should have known that he was being recorded.
You put a little timer over here.
So you think you telling me I'm going to do this?
Man, I just want this broad to leave me alone, and this girl will about disappear.
Damn. He said, I just want this broad to leave me alone. He said this broad. He said, how is he getting away with this?
Good Lord.
He said, I want this broad to disappear. Damn.
All right, 15 seconds. All right, there we go. All right, so what do you want to talk about?
This is true. I agree with this comment. XVY Jay-Z says, I think that's when, hold on. I don't know why it doesn't let me see the message. He says, I think that's when Abba said, let me get back into my moral good guy role, but it was too late. She got what she needed. She did get what she needed, but it didn't destroy him. It's so, man, I'm not saying I wanted Abba to get destroyed, but it's very interesting. This would destroy most other dudes in the court of public opinion.
I just don't think, like, why do you feel like you saying I'm going to do this all on my own isn't, like, that isn't, I just...
All right, anyways, I already gave you my answer about this topic. You're not getting any explanations out of me, so you can make whatever decision you want. I told you what I'm going to do, so you can decide what you want to do. Are you going to keep harassing me?
I don't think I'm harassing you. I think the only way I was...
Yeah, I don't care what you think. All I asked is, are you going to keep harassing me? You don't have to see this harassment.
I was
Are
just
you going to keep trying to contact me when I don't want you to contact me?
I was trying to contact you because there wasn't a decision made about the baby. And so the only thing I was hearing from you was you don't care if I have it or not, and you're not going to be a part of it if I do have it, because I told you, because I said I felt uneasy about the relationship last night, and I
don't care about anything you're saying right now. I'm not listening to any of it. So I just asked you a simple question, and you keep harassing me. You know I'm not going to be part of anything. You know my answer to everything. So are you going to keep harassing me?
She's not gonna incriminate herself. She's trying to incriminate you, brother.
Not gonna keep harassing you. I kept...
Are you sure? Because you know what? Let me record this. You said you're not gonna keep harassing me? All right, say that again. Because I know you're gonna contact me again. You're probably gonna tell me your friends you need some more blackmail. So say that you're not gonna harass me.
You only think it's blackmail because you know that the messages you sent me were pretty evil and pretty messed up, and you wouldn't call it.
Sure. Okay, all right. So you're not saying that you're not gonna take your friends to keep blackmailing me. Is that what you're saying?
No, I never even sent them.
Okay, all right. So you're going to keep sending your friends to blackmail me. Okay, cool. All right, are you going to keep harassing me? So the answer is yes?
I agree. XVY Jay-Z says, nah, I want mockers and scoffers to get their just due. I agree with that.
After our conversation today, are you going to...
All right, sounds like you are going to keep harassing me.
No, I'm not.
All right, well, listen, you already know my answer. I don't want anything to do with you. I wish that you would just be dead to me. That's what I prefer. I don't want to know anything about your existence. If you have the child, like I said, send me letters in the mail for child support, whatever you need. That's cool. And if you don't have the child, great. That's fantastic news. Anything else?
Yeah, Alba started catching on that she's trying to set him up. Oh man.
No, like, does this, just like you talking to me this way, does
Yeah,
it?
yeah, like you blackmail me. That's how I'm going to talk to you. So
You
that's what it is.
were talking to me like this before.
I don't care about your explanation about your problem with how I talk to you. I already told you, you're dead to me.
You were
You're trying to blackmail me. You're dead to me.
Oh my
Hey,
god!
listen, you're not going to explain this away. You're not changing anything.
Abba,
You
you were
understand.
treating me.
Like it. You don't have to be okay.
You were
I don't
treating
care
me
how
like
I
this
was treating you. I don't
before
care.
that
I
stuff.
don't care.
There's all these.
I'm not listening. I'm not going to listen to anything. I'm not going to listen to a damn word you have to say about anything else. All I want to know is, what are you going to do going forward? We're not talking about anything else. We're not having a conversation. I don't owe you a conversation. We're not going to have one. You can make whatever choice you have. I already said that. I said that's your choice to make. I made my choice. I want anything to do with you. So you don't have to like it. That's just my choice. Are you going to respect that? Probably not. You don't respect anything I asked for. So what are we still talking about?
I've respected a lot what you've asked for.
You don't respect any choice. You've never.
I could be wrong. So King Pig 6 says she clearly wants his kid because he has a bit of a social media attention. Chris Mike, soon she will be on Fresh and Fit doing a tell-all. But she I would have sworn she said that she went through eventually with the abortion. So there's no kid to speak of, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't listen correctly. But she did say that she ended up just going through with the abortion. There's just too much because I'm just gonna go with the general consensus here and just say that she just wasn't pregnant and she just didn't get the reactions. She didn't get her way. She didn't get really what she wanted out of the situation. She got, Abba got played. That's that would be my conventional knowledge kicking in. Abba got played, nothing more, nothing less, but if you look into that, taking that at face value, he could have avoided all of this had he heeded, if he took, the so-called red pillars advice, he could have literally avoided all of this. But that's a whole other story for another day.
You don't have the child if you respected what I wanted. But I know you don't respect what I want.
So you asked me.
Of course not. Of course not. You know damn well the only circumstance I didn't want a kid in is the exact circumstance that you want to have a kid in.
No, you never heard me talk about it. You never heard me talk about it. You never heard me explain what my thoughts were on it. And you were.
Hey, listen, it don't matter. All you need to know is I don't want this kid. But if you want to have it, that's your problem. I want nothing to do with this kid. I want nothing to do with you.
I understand. But you wanted the kid the first 2 months. And so when I told you, I felt.
When I thought I was going to be with somebody, but turns out you wanted to quit, so it is what it is. Now that we're here,
I didn't quit. I was being honest about.
Yes, you did. You quit, but I don't want to hear your explanation.
So this is what his story. This is the story of a lot of men where basically they did want the kid, but if they were going to have the kid, they wanted it to do it in the right way. But once she starts pulling back and starts, what's the term? Basically suggesting, and she'll start basically suggesting co-parenting, which means she's going to put you on child support. That's when the separation begins. And once the separation begins, that's when the dad usually gets the bad rep, or if the dad leaves, then he's considered a deadbeat. No, that's not. No. You're trying to extort him. You're trying to do things. And I'll say this. I don't doubt that she tried to blackmail Abba and, delete the footage and delete evidence of her blackmailing. But this is common. These are the things that men have been complaining about for a minute. But when we do, it's just basically dismissed as, oh, you just picked the wrong woman. No, the reason why we bring these things up is because there's no legal repercussions for the stuff that women do. Like, this is like she can't get arrested for what she's doing right here. So this is why it's actually more important to really highlight something like this, particularly if a man is going through that. But we've been dismissed for far too long. Young men in general have been dismissed for far too long. So it's time now for the for the Abbas of the world, the Scott Galloways of the world, to a lesser extent, Steve Crowder, even though I try to give him the, I try to help him out a little bit because Hillary Crowder, she's just what a piece of shit she is. But I could even let Steve Crowder go down with the L. That's how much of a piece of shit that his wife is, his ex-wife is. But it's time we let those people, the conservatives, the Dave Ramseys of the world, who else, they're gonna pay what they owe for just dismissing the knowledge, dismissing men as losers, not really empathizing or sympathizing with the men going through these situations. You know what I mean? So they like I said, they gonna pay what they owe. But seeing the response that Abba's getting and how he was able to control the narrative from the get-go, now I am curtain. I say it like that. I am certain that Abba he's being used, meaning this is not his rise to YouTube fame. It's not a genuine rise. He's a part of the machine. I just don't know what part that he's playing yet. But the protection that he's been given via the algorithms is very suspicious. But I digress with that. I'm gonna leave that alone. Praying mantis. He says, how could have Abba avoided this for the normies listening? That's why they're gonna dismiss it as, oh man, this is a crazy bit. No, there's no way somebody like a Abba could avoid this. There's no way. Adam Adu said Crowder deserves the punishment. How many men did he lead down that path, etc.? I'll let Jesus forgive him, not me. I agree. I think I gave Steve Crowder too much of a pass because I just felt when I saw what Hillary Crowder did, where basically she kept the one footage of Steve Crowder looking like a bad guy, and then when the judge, or was it the people at the hearing, when they wanted to see all of the footage from basically all the other days and all the other years, she deleted all of the other footage and kept that one. I was triggered by that. I was like, are you serious? I'm like, how can you even how can you even get away with something like that? And then on top of that, Hillary Crowder had most of the support from the conservative base. Do you guys know that? I was appalled. I was like, wow. I was just like, I'm talking about, it was men supporting her. It was obviously the conservative girlies were supporting her. I'm like, even with all of this coming out, you supporting her? I was like, wow. I said the conservative party ain't worth nothing, bro. I was like, wow. And I'm not like, I remember the stuff that Crowder said. So I still kind of had that in me, like, look, you getting what you deserve, low key. But I was so triggered at what Hillary Crowder was getting away with. I was like, nah, I can't. This is some people in this chat might remember the stream I did on Hillary Crowder. I don't think it was a whole stream. I just remember doing a segment on her, and I was like, this is just wow. How is she getting away with this? Well, Pyro says the conservatives are just as annoying and man-hating as the left is. I don't know how most people don't see that. XVYJZ says him and Anton are working for the machine. Yeah, I believe that. Somebody put me on game. It was a pro-black. So a pro-black commented on something. I had said something about Anton, and he's like, no, you don't understand. He said that Anton is actually an operative working for the Democrats. And I was like, huh? That doesn't make sense. He's like, no. He said there's people that have been sent from the left to infiltrate the right and to basically drum up support from the normie conservative fan base, just basically to make the conservatives look bad. So when you have guys like an Anton Daniels or some of these people that are on the so-called conservative side, right? They make the conservatives look like, oh, we're just some racist, pieces of ish, and we just want we support, the small hat country. You know what I'm saying? We support anything Orange Man does. So the left will send operatives into the right to make the right look like to make it look a certain way. And I forgot about that side of the game. I was like, you know what? This is a plausible theory. This is a plausible theory. Thank you, Mr. Pro Blickety Black. I forgot about this. It's a guy, it's a YouTuber. I forgot what his name is. It's a Pro Blickety Black. Right. But I forgot his name. I just happened to be looking at one of I just happened to search up Anton Daniels on YouTube, and then his page pop up because he said something about Anton. And when I made my comment, I said, you're one of the few channels that has called out Anton for being a piece of work. Shout out to you. And then but I put my opinion saying, no, you don't get it. He's an operative of the left. I was like, I didn't hear this theory from anybody else. I was just like, this actually could be this is very plausible. This is very plausible. Because yes, Anton's a grifter, but it could be a lot deeper than that, because there's a lot of people they're like, there's a lot of YouTubers, especially nowadays, they have agents. Like, even when they do certain collabs, they got agents, like they're Hollywood actors or musicians or even athletes. It's YouTubers with like whole agents and stuff, and the agents will be in the background setting up things and setting up collaborations, making connections. Anton is also on video. There's video of him saying, I'm willing to do anything to become famous. So this is the type of, when you're dealing with characters like that, you're like, oh, these guys are easily paid off. So, okay, so this is interesting. Adam A. Dude said Anton was really pro-Dem a few years ago. I don't know. He says, I don't know now because I stopped watching a long time ago, but that theory does sound correct. Okay. So yeah, like King Pig 6 says, so he's just a grifter. Yeah, that too. But this is also like, two things can be true, many things can be true. But when the Pro Blickety Black put me on this information, I was like, oh, okay, this might be a plausible theory. I forgot about that side of the game, because I remember people used to kind of put me on to stuff like that when I was in high school, where you'll have certain political operatives. They will plant people in certain places to make that particular party or that entity or organization look bad. You see how like the Democrats, right? The Muslims like to call them, right? The NOI like to call them the Democrats, right? You see how like the Democrats were able to take over the 2020 situation with the George Floyd situation, and then they were able to use that and flip it into a political situation, so they can get most of the normies so they can get more normies to vote left, right? So the Democrats are very they're very good at this, and I think I might have fell for it. Because I'm covering these dudes, and I'm like, these guys are terrible conservatives. Meanwhile, this guy was probably a leftist shield all along. Because here I am, at first, I'm telling dudes, hey, we need to vote conservative. And here we got these conservatives making other conservatives look bad. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these conservative ass? Meanwhile, that guy's a Democrat the whole time, really, undercover. So it's something I'm like, you know what? Maybe I fell for it. This guy might have been a Democrat shield the whole time. These are not, because I said these guys are not real Republicans. I don't know what's good with this dude right here. Like, what's going on with these people on YouTube? I'm like, these are not like, nah, these are not the Republicans that I grew up seeing. Like that I looked up to. Like this is I'm like, who are these guys? And these guys are operatives. They're Democrat operatives. So their job is just to make the conservatives look as bad as possible. So when it comes time to that voting booth, they're going to vote left. They'll see somebody that this person supported on YouTube and they're like, I can't support that person. Let me vote for somebody else. So it's a very interesting theory. So maybe I got to start watching the pro blacks again, because I'm talking about the class, not the new age ones. Like the pro black that I'm talking about, this is like a guy in his 50s, 60s. This is an old school pro black. This is not these are not the these Marxists. You know what I mean? These are the old school ones, right? They're neither left wing or right wing. They're black wing. they're dark wing. Oh man.
I actually don't care about how you feel about it or what you think about it. I think that's what I always think. I always think you're a quitter, and I always think you're a blackmailer. That's period. That's in the story. You can't change my perception of you. Don't try.
So
you're wasting your time.
You don't think?
I always think you're.
Okay.
I always think.
So I don't know.
You. And that's where I will see you at.
But
I don't want to know your explanation. I don't want to understand. I don't want to hear your lies. I don't want to hear your theories or whatever. I don't care anymore.
I'm not.
Yes, you are trying to explain. So let's move on. We're not talking about this topic. We're not talking about this. I will literally just mute you again.
How do you not see, like, you just leaving?
I don't care. I'm not trying to see. I'm not trying to see anything. I'm not here to listen to
How come you can try to tell me that? How come you can just tell me, like, I'm doing...
You had your time. You did that long-ass call where you told me why you were breaking up with me. You told all your little cute lies, and I didn't really care for them, but I let you get them off. I didn't say a damn word.
See, why are you saying they're cute lies? You don't...
Okay, you know what? Listen, don't worry about why I think they're lies. I'm never going to tell you. All you need to know is...
Do you think they were lies because do you lie?
How do I get you out of my life? No, how do I get you out of my life? Tell me. That's why, if you want to talk, yap, tell me how I get you out of my life. Is there any way I can make sure I never hear from you again? Tell me how. Give me that answer. What was the answer to that question? How do I rid myself of you?
Men have said similar in the past, but they got called deadbeats. But anyways.
Oh, now you don't have anything to say? You don't have an answer to that? So I can't get rid of you, can I? Like, you're always going to be this fucking parasite who shows up in my life. Is that what you're saying?
I don't think that's how I've been. I think I've been trying to...
I don't care how you think, how you can. I just want to know. I don't want you to talk about anything else. Can you just tell me how I can get you out of my life?
Talk. I don't think...
Because I don't want to hear you talk about anything. I don't owe you a conversation. All I want to know is, how do I get you out of my life?
You really thought
all I want you is to be gone. I just want you to be gone. Like, you are disruptive to my life. You're ruining everything for me. I don't want anything to do with you. I want to go back to work. I want to enjoy my life. I want to be able to enjoy the things I enjoy. I want you gone. So you are the worst.
So shout out to XVY Jay-Z. He says, watch Boondocks BET clip and I'll explain Anton and Abba as part of the machine. And I'll also say this. This is also why now you have these today's so-called Republicans that are just pro small hat country OD, and you're just like, what I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You're like, what's happening, right? These guys are undercover Democrat operatives, and it's starting to make. Now I'm like, okay, so now, because if the average conservative or average right-leaning person like myself, right, we see something like this, we're like, yo, what the fuck is this? So you just get discouraged. You see something like that, you just get discouraged from the whole political process, the whole system in general. So you yourself, particularly me, you're just like, you don't even push nothing conservative because you see what's happening, and you're like, oh, now it all makes sense. XVY JC says, I hate when people get me this emotional. Yeah, because she knew exactly what she was doing, with this phone call.
Thing in my life. How do I get rid of you?
Okay,
Tell me.
so you're talking to me like I wasted 3 years of your life. This has been 5 months.
Hey, no.
It's been 5 months, and I told you the truth about how I felt.
I don't care. No. I'm muting
How
it.
come you can't hear me?
I told you we're not having a conversation. All right. Muting it.
But you're talking to me.
All right, so you can tell me the only thing I want to hear from you is how do I get rid of you? And you can't answer that. The only time you get silent. So I can't get rid of
you. If anybody else said this, bro, if Corey Holcomb had a video, a clip like this with a broad, they would say that he's threatening somebody. If Jonathan, how about this here? Let's say like this: if Jonathan Major's ex-girlfriend had a phone call like this of him, they would say that Jonathan Majors is threatening her. How do I get rid of you? That's a perfect example I could actually bring up. If Jonathan Majors' ex-girlfriend had a clip similar saved to her phone of Jonathan Majors saying that, they would say that Jonathan Majors is threatening. That's a threat. Man, this is some interesting stuff, man.
I can't get rid of you. That's what I'm learning. Like, you're going to be a parasite for good, right?
I'm not interested in being a parasite. I was trying to contact you the last 2 days because there's a baby involved.
How do I get rid of you? I don't want you
There was no decision made. There wasn't any.
So you keep talking. I'm not listening.
He just kept basically muting her every time that oh man, anybody else who would say that's toxic?
I want to get rid of this girl, bro.
There's no.
Damn, you hear what he's saying? He said, I just want to get rid of this girl. They would, like, if it was any of us, they would say that's a threat.
Oh, you're still talking? All right, let me mute it again. Good Lord. Okay, so how do I get rid of you? Can you tell me?
So if what I said to you weren't lies, are you going to be proud of?
Okay, all right. I gotta mute it again. She's never gonna answer my question. Holy shit! I am actually dealing with maybe a stalker or a crazy fucking person. Oh, all right. I'm back again. Are you gonna answer my?
How am I being a stalker?
How do I get rid of you? How do I get rid of you? How do I get rid of you? How do I get rid of you?
We can hang up in 5 minutes, and I just want to know how I'm being a stalker.
How do I get rid of you? How do I get rid of you? I want to get rid of you. I want to go to bed tonight and really believe that I'll never hear from you again. That's all I want in my life.
Because I broke up with you 5 months in because
I'll PayPal you $1,000 if you just tell me how to get rid of you.
I gave you $2,000 last week because I felt like
I'll PayPal you $3,000. I'll double it. I'll PayPal you all the money you send.
When in a relationship has money?
How do I get rid of you? How do I get rid of you though? Please.
It's very interesting. It's because it's actually a lot of men in these situations where basically they're willing to pay whatever money to just get rid of not necessarily get rid of the bro, but just distance themselves from her because that woman is so much of a nuisance or a pain in that guy's life, right? So there have been guys that have come forward and they say, like, look, if a bitch is going to threaten you with child support and not tell you can't see the kid, just pay a check and then just move on. Don't do nothing don't do nothing else for the kid. Just pay that check. And when guys have come forward and said this, they said that that's toxic, and they said that you're just avoiding your responsibilities. There have been actors, there have been famous people that have said, look, I just write my check and I don't and I just don't do anything else. And then they've been called all types of deadbeat dads. So it seems because Abba is saying this, it's okay. It almost reminds me of when when Sleepy Joe had his accusation, and then now you have people talking about, well, it's innocent until proven guilty, and we need to go through the facts before we make judgment. I'm like, man, especially when you know the amount of athletes, particularly black male athletes, that got destroyed off an accusation with zero proof. Even athletes that were backed by powerful organizations, they lose their whole they lose their whole spot on the team and everything because just the accusation alone is damning. It's you can tell the dudes who are backed by the machine and who the dudes who aren't backed by the machine.
Again, the only reason why I wasn't contacting you the last 2 days.
Oh my God, this crazy lady. I mean, I can stop hearing from her. Oh my God, I really fucked up. I'm really dealing with an insane person. Oh, you know what? This is my fault. This is my fault. I fucked up.
This is actually funny though. He said, I fucked up. He's saying, like, bro, like, we broke up. Is there any way I could get you to stop stalking me, stop trying to reach me through family members and all this stuff? Is there any way I could do to stop you? And Abba, this is the answer. No, you can't. There's nothing that you can do legally. There's really nothing that you can do via the courts or the officers. If you call the police on her, they're not really going to do anything about it. They're just going to be like, just stay away from her if you can. Even if you had a TRO or a restraining order, that's not going to be enough. Now imagine if she actually kept his kid. He would be. Do you know how fucked he would be? like imagine if he actually did knock up this broad. He would be screwed. Like, I'm talking about really screwed. And I told you, all these people laughing at Fresh and all these other people, I said, man, hey, be careful. That same ish, that could happen to any of us. Because in America, in the United of Israel, America, a woman can do this to you. And there's literally no legal recourse you can do. If a woman just wants to stay in your life, there's nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it as a man. Unless if you want to go the Ray Caruth route. There's literally nothing you can do. Now, they can't do that to every single man, but most men, if you get in this situation, you're screwed. Most men in this situation, I'm talking about you're beat. You can't do nothing. You just have to hope that like she just crashes her own car or she ends up like overdosing. If this is the stuff that we talk about. But anyways.
She's gonna harass and stop me forever. She's gonna send her friends to piss me off and annoy the shit out of me.
You act like this is my behavior all the time.
How do I get rid of you?
Why are you saying these things?
Do you not hear me? Do you not hear me?
I hear you.
Are you not listening to anything I'm saying?
Abba,
I think you are the worst thing to ever happen in my life. How do I get rid of you? And you say you love me, but you can't answer the simple question of how I can not be with you. How can I not have you in my life?
Listen.
It's such a simple thing. I could never be you know that. I could never be with somebody claim I love them, and if they really didn't want me in their life, just hold on to them for dear life.
I'm not.
Right? You're the worst. You're actually the worst. All I want you is to stop harassing me, to stop blackmailing me, to stop contacting me, stop contacting my friends, stop contacting my people. And you're saying you don't know how you can stop.
So Reaper asked, he says, are the comments in Abba's response video calling him? He says, are the comments in Abba's response video calling him out? No, he has most of the support. Let me review this again though. Because I definitely I'll say this, me personally, I owe this explanation to Reaper. So this is very important here. Let me share this tab with you real quick. Let me share. I hope he's looking at the tab. I'm gonna show him something real quick. Right? You take a look at Libby Calian's, you look at her initial response video. Look how many views she has. She only has 39,000 views on the video, talking about her story with Abba. Her initial video, 39,000 views. You search up Abba, let me see. If you search up Abba pregnancy on YouTube, look how limited these views are. Even the A-lists, even the more popular streamers that try to cover this story, 4,000 views, 5,000 views. A federal flago, a federal agent, right? 76,000 views. He can't even hit 100,000 views off that video. Now, guess who has the most views off of the situation? Abba and Preach, when he does the response video, 400,000 views. So who guess who gets to control the narrative? He does. When Libby dropped her video, Abba went live immediately. So he knew that this was coming. So he already was like already waiting in the cut, already had her on standby, already had her. So when you see stuff like this, that's how you know he's well connected. He has people in the YouTube, like he knows the people that work the YouTube algorithms and all these things. They got his back. That's all I need to see right there. He has 400,000 plus views. So he gets to control the narrative about what happens. And with him controlling the narrative, they get to just write this situation off as, oh, this is just one, just this is a crazy lady. This, this is not a normal situation. This is just a crazy lady that he ran across. So this is why you'll have most of his fan base now saying, "Oh, they're willing to stick up for him," because he's not going to credit the red pill. He's not going to say the red pill is right. He's not going to say, "Yeah, most of these hoes are crazy." He's not going to do that. That's why he's getting most of the support. Now, if any of the so-called, like, say, if Myron went through anything similar, they would be making fun of Myron. You saw what happened to Shannon Sharp when he got through where he was going through what he was going through. And even to the guys where the woman was clearly lying, their names still got dragged in their names still got dragged, in the dirt. So the people in charge, they still understand if the story gets enough views, if it gets enough algorithmic support, even though she's clearly lying, this could drag Abba's name in the dirt. So they clearly understand it. So they're limiting everybody's viewership. They're limiting a lot of people's algorithmic push for this particular story, because there are people in charge that are fans of Abba and Preach. Abba and Preach, they revealed it in the Fresh and Fit beef that they got a personal letter from one of these people and said, "Oh no, we got your back." Basically, we got your back. So they understand how the normies work. They know if this story gets too much in the cycle, we can't feed the machine. So we're gonna make sure we draw all the algorithms to Abba's channel, where he gets to control the narrative, where he gets to control what really happened. This is some very brilliant, some very wicked work, low-key, behind the scenes. Because most women know they could just put, all it takes is just putting something in the public opinion sphere, and it's going to drag your name is going to get dragged. Even if she's clearly lying, there's going to be a huge cohort of women that is going to give the woman the benefit of the doubt. You saw this with the Tylil situation. You saw this with the Kai Cenat situations, like his friend. Like, you see this with. So they know they can't. So whatever, anybody, if you notice, anybody that types up Abba pregnancy or anything Abba related, it goes directly, the algorithm, the search goes directly to Abba and to Abba's live stream of him explaining his side of the story. This is all done on purpose, right? I remember there's certain, like Kwame Brown's channel was blowing up at one point. Like, he was just getting mad subscribers, and then just one day it just stopped. Out of nowhere, like his subscriber count just stopped. That's YouTube, and that's people coming through and just be like, let's limit his reach. There was like in 2021 when he was blowing up, he just blew up, and just all of a sudden, just one day his subscriber count just stopped. And then there were certain people going on their channels and saying, "Oh man, Kwame Brown's not as popular as he used to." Like these things are done on purpose. And I'm not saying this like somebody, you know, pressing a button and doing, like, there are mathematic equations behind this. There's things that there's certain people, they know things behind the scenes, when they could direct traffic to whoever they want to, and direct traffic somewhere else when you search up certain, key terms, keywords. There's a science to that, but clearly Abba has the backing of the people in charge of YouTube. Clearly, because a video like this, hold on, a video like this is supposed to have way more views. It's not. How does this video have 1.6K comments, but only 39,000 views and only 500 likes? No, that's somebody working behind the scenes to make sure her reach is limited, and she only has 668 subscribers. No, that's not. Nope. You look at this video, the recorded phone call, only 10,000 views. Another video where she explains the situation, only 19,000 views. This is done on purpose.
You're acting like I did that every day. I just did that today, and I didn't contact.
You are the worst. You're a parasite. How do I get rid of you?
I didn't contact your friends. I didn't contact.
I don't care. How do I get rid of you? Can you answer the question?
I
What will make you shut the fuck up and never contact me again? What will it cost?
I promise after this phone call, I won't. But I think you keep saying.
No, promise. Promise me.
He says, if you listen to the video, Abba seems to have possibly become distant on purpose to cause the girl to become confused and want to delete the kid. But me personally, I don't even think she was pregnant. But like I said, there's certain people you can't play with, right? You'll have an escort. Certain escorts, they'll try to extort certain politicians, and then the escorts end up missing and stuff like that. So this is like a modern day version of this, where they, the powers that may be, they're trying to shut this story down, right? My advice, because low-key, I don't think Abba's gonna learn his lesson with this. I don't no, especially with the people saying this is not like the Fresh situation. I'm like, oh, he's gonna get played again. He's gonna get got again. I need him to really feel like the real pain, because he's getting a lot of protection, a lot of covering. And specifically why he's getting a lot of covering and all these things is because he's, anti-red pill and doing all these grandstanding, and I'm on the neutral side and all these stuff. So that's really why he's getting all this protection. But let him. Imagine if one day Abba snaps and just, man, these hoes ain't shit. He's just, he loses all of his sponsorships, loses all of his, but it'd be, it'll be interesting to see. XVY Jay-Z says pride comes before the fall.
You'll never contact me again. Promise.
Yes.
Okay, all right, you promised, and I recorded it. So
more views equals the truth. The people in charge of the algorithms, they understand this. This is why certain dudes, this is why I tell you there's certain athletes, they make sure certain people are paid off in the media. And I said that's smart, because there's certain stories, if they just hit the algorithm, even though it's a nothing burger, it becomes something. They know that this is just how this thing works, man. This is why certain people get paid off. This is why entities, they get paid off, because there's certain stories it cannot enter the sphere. It can't enter it.
Ever you fucking liar, take that shit back, I will send you this recording. If I ever hear from you again, that's all I'm sending you. That recording on repeat. The one where you promised to never fucking contact me again. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I almost want to feel relieved, but I don't even believe you because you've always told me you'll give me time and never have. But you know what? Here we are. At least you promised, and that's all I can ask. What do you want?
I didn't.
Oh, shit.
Are you even like, you don't care what I have to say? I don't think I hear.
I don't care. I don't care about what you have to say. I don't care about your explanation. Everything that you say means nothing to me. Everything.
Because I broke up with you and I told you the truth and it was respectful and they weren't lies and we had a conversation. I don't know how it.
Oh.
I don't know how that conversation. You ended the conversation peacefully. I did the best that I could. It was last night. Last night.
It's kind of funny because you can hear Abba losing his mind. The background. He's like, yo, man. He's just like, oh my God. He said, what can I do to get rid of this? You can hear the exasperation. Oh man. That nigga's like, I cannot believe I'm in the same situation as Fresh. I can't believe it. Oh man. But it's not even that. It's not even that. That's just me talking shit a little bit, even though that's true. But it's like his position is just like, oh my God. So what can I do? Panther Man said he's gonna choke on these red pills today. Yeah, you go feel this pain. Yes, sir. You go get this work. He can get all these people, all that grandstanding, all that talking ish. You going out your way to quote unquote defame the red pill. Okay. You can do all that shit. You can do all that shit. You can do all that shit if you want to. Do everything in your power to make you seem like you're the arbiter of the neutral side, and you're the arbiter of truth in the middle. And you oh, okay, I don't take sides. You one of them. Okay. You do that he thought that was gonna save him from these evil ass hoes. You nigga, no. You go get this work. You go catch this work. Yeah. XVYJZ says, now if Abba was this mad, imagine if she had the kid. He would be considering some here's William towards Libby. Look, broads have gotten deleted for way less. I remember that Corey Holcomb joke he said, man, if I just killed the bitch, I don't gotta worry about it no more. Oh man. But anyways. Oh, hold on, my bad. I clicked the wrong video. Here we go.
When we broke up and you said, okay, we can break up. Just keep me updated on the pregnancy and whether or not you want to keep it. And then you blocked me. And I have to make a decision. And I tried to contact you today because that's important. And I'm not interested in harassing you or doing any of that stuff. If you don't want to be involved, I'm not going to contact you after this. I needed to have this conversation just to know. And so we figured it out. But I didn't harass you. I didn't blackmail you. I didn't do any of those things. I needed to figure out whether or not you really meant you didn't want to be a part of the baby after.
Okay, cool. Now you know. Okay, cool. Now you know I meant it. Anything else?
So but before last night, before we had this serious conversation, you wanted me to keep the
baby. He's so tight. Oh man. I'm gonna do it though. I'm definitely this summer. What I'm gonna do, I gotta do something where I'm trolling Abba. I definitely gotta do that. I definitely gotta set it up where prove me wrong. Abba's a deadbeat father, and just see the kind of track I definitely gotta do. You know that thing that Steve Crowder did. Where he would go on these college campuses and say, prove me wrong, blah, 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 blah. I got to do something like that. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Is Abba, if Abba's a deadbeat father or not. And I just want to hear the reaction of the normies. Them niggas is gonna be sounding like, yeah, change my mind. Change Abba's a deadbeat, change my mind. Yeah, I know he holding his Pablo said, I know he's holding his head in his hands. Yeah. Yeah. You thought all that all that simping was gonna save you from these from these. What? You gonna catch this work, man. I'm sorry, you gonna catch this work.
Before
we're not having a conversation. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'll never be involved. That's my answer.
That's okay, but I don't understand.
I'm not explaining anything to you. You will get zero explanations from me. I'm not explaining.
You don't have to
anything. I don't want
explain.
it.
That makes sense. XVYJZ says, I honestly think, why is it not letting me see the comment? But anyways, he says, I honestly think that she was pregnant and would have kept it, and this blackmail was her getting revenge because she regrets the abortion. Yeah, or maybe, you know, I made a joke. I remember I was making a joke to somebody, and I said maybe her thinking about the abortion in the first place, say if she was actually knocked up, hers, when she's saying, I was thinking about getting the abortion, that was her basically assessing how much Abba was really making. And she was like, because, you know, you have people on YouTube, they got 1 million subscribers and they're making decent money off YouTube, but for some reason they're not doing as well as you thought. Maybe that's what she was referring to, because, you know, women, they don't say things directly, they say things indirectly, and you got to kind of catch what they're trying to say, because she said she was going back and forth and all this stuff. Like, if she got knocked up by the average athlete, she's keeping the kid. She's not having an abortion. Like, if she gets knocked up by one of them goofy niggas, what's a goofy ass nigga that's an NBA role player? Yeah, any NBA role player. You could be literally Marcus Smart. She's keeping the kid because she knows that NBA money is legit. That's some legit money right there, right? She's not. Oh, I'm going back and forth. Should I keep? So if we're taking her word for it, say she was pregnant, the only reason why she would be assessing her options is that would be just her assessing to see how much she would get via child support, or she probably found out that because Abba lives in Canada or something like that, and that she lives in California, she really can't get nothing from the kid. That's really what she would be. That's what she would mean if she was actually knocked up. You know, convention, like I said, conventional wisdom right there.
But it is true.
Okay.
Before last night, you wanted everything to do with the baby. You wanted everything to do with the baby before last night. And all I can do 5 months in is tell you how we're probably not compatible because of how much we're fighting.
All right. You've told your story. You know, you tried to make yourself out to be a really good person. You did great. Anything else? I never said. For yourself now. You're just talking for yourself so you can like control the narrative.
No, I'm not. What am I saying? What have I done? What have I done?
You're not even listening. You're not listening. I don't care for a single word you're saying. I'm not taking it in. I'm not
because
listening.
I told you.
You're talking for yourself. You're just talking for yourself.
No, I need you to.
This emotionally.
What's a lie? What's a lie in what I said?
And I don't care about it. I will never explain. I will never talk about
because
you are dead to me.
You know what? In a few months, you're gonna understand that I did everything right.
Still talking for yourself. Okay,
I did everything right, Abba, and you know it. I didn't cheat on you. I didn't string the relationship along.
Right.
I didn't string the relationship. We're 5 months in. We're 5 months in. Okay. I didn't string you along. I didn't have you invest.
This is so exhausting.
I didn't have you invest more money into me at all. Do you know any other chick would be okay with that? I pay you back.
This is true. He says Abba is projecting control the narrative. I agree with that as well, because they're both like really in anybody that's actually looking at it fair. Because there's a lot of, you know, Abba and Preach fans, basically taking over the comment sections, talking about, oh, thank you for looking at this objectively. And no. If you're actually looking at this objectively, you'd see that both of them are kind of being a bit disingenuous. Now, obviously, her on her end, yes, of course, because she's recording the conversation, but him on his end, he especially, he knows that she's recording, so now he's trying to make himself look as innocent as possible, especially when you're looking at it where most of the traffic of the views that he's getting off the story, he's getting most of the traffic, and it's like the traffic that he's getting off of the story is completely lopsided. It's not even fair. So it really calls into question, like, who's trying, like, it's clear that he's trying to make himself look, like the good guy. Tomorrow, I'm gonna do another live stream where I'm showing you his response, because I might not have time to show you his response, because he has an hour-long video of his response and the things that he say, where even like he would say little slick shit underneath, where he was like, oh no, all of everybody that I knew around me, they have nothing good to say about her. He would just say these little slick things, undermining her character as much as he can, while at the same time saying, look, I take responsibility, I'm culpable of this, but still taking little slick shots here and there where he's absolving himself. I'm like, oh, once you see it, you'll see what I'm saying there.
I contribute. I like chip in where I can. No, and that's the truth.
Yeah, you're 10 out of 10. You're the best. You're the best. You're right. You're right. You're the best.
And so,
anything else?
And so before the conversation last night, you wanted everything to do with the baby. You said you wouldn't.
All right.
You wouldn't.
So this really is just for you. This is just for you to feel better about yourself. Do you need closure? Is that what you need? Do you need me to like look at you type of way? Is that what you need?
No, I just
Why are you trying so hard? I don't understand why you try so hard. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. I don't like you. I don't want anything to hear from you. And like, you're trying to convince me about like your behavior and your conduct.
You're saying this, but you would have never said this last night before the conversation. I don't know how.
Sure.
But why do you have so much hatred? How do you have so much? But you were in love with me before.
I don't want to hear from you. I don't know what else to say.
But how do you have so much hatred after a conversation that we had respectfully?
Oh my God, this girl is like so narcissistic. You just want to always have to tell the story that you believe is true. I don't care.
What's not true about what he said though?
You'll never know. I'll never tell you. I will never give you that satisfaction.
Because the only thing I've ever done with you was be honest.
Yeah, you told the truth. Yeah, you killed it. You told the truth. You preach it. Anything else?
No, I've only been honest with you. And you know that.
Yeah, you only been honest. You never cheated. You're the best.
You know that. In a few months, like
I know that. I would know that, and you're right. Anything else?
You know that. And I hope.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
you're right. You did the best. You did awesome.
And like
you did awesome. You were great.
Like when you're riled up like this, and it's happening in every fight.
Oh Lord, this is a mess. This is a pure mess.
You always say the worst things to me, and then when things are okay, you realize how messed up.
Libby, I was the worst, and Libby's the best. Anything else?
You know that I
Holy shit!
She you when two narcissists go back at this is what it looks like when two narcissists are going at it. Like when two legit narcissists are going at it. This is what it looks like right here. She can't even play victim, and he has to basically just give her the man has to give her the W, right? The male narcissist is smart enough to understand, like, let me just give her the W. Let's see how she flips this. Female narcissist, she doesn't know what to do, but she starts crying. Even though he said he gave her the W. This is some funny stuff right here.
For someone in a relationship, you love to still talk to me. It's crazy.
No.
I've never broken up with someone and been yapped to this much afterwards. It's actually kind of insane. I've never seen someone end a relationship and like be on a call like.
But shout out to Adam A. Dude. I think he said it. Yeah, Adam A. Dude said this is the standard issue woman. This is what they're trying to avoid. This is what the public they're trying to avoid. They're just trying to make you. This is they're all all the women are kind of trying to relate this to their situation. A person. This is what a crazy person looks like. No, this is the standard issue broad. Every broad in America can basically are allowed to do things like this to the men that they want to terrorize. This is what they want to avoid, because then just the fact that they had to mention a woman doing this, they would have to acknowledge even the worst of them, the red pill. After doing all the inside the manosphere pieces about how toxic the inside the manosphere and all this, they can't acknowledge this the way that it needs to be acknowledged. After talking all that shit, how do you flip this? Okay, we're just gonna this crazy person. Because I see it in the comment section. It's like, oh man, anybody that's been through a breakup should understand what when you're dealing with somebody that won't. They're just trying to just this is a toxic person. No, nope. Not letting them get away with it. And this is how I'm not letting them get away with it. I am going to continue to troll Abba. I'm talking about in public. I'll be like, damn, did you hear that Abba did blah blah blah? And I just want to hear the response. I'm like I said, I'm looking for the smoke when it comes to Abba. I just want to hear the response. I just want to hear how they defend it, the language that they use. I'll mention it. I'll do it in passing. I'll be like, yeah, man. I didn't know Abba rolled that way. Just some slick shit. A little bit of a public experiment. I might pull it. I might pull it. Anyways, B. Watson says Abba and Peach were always off to me. They always inherited on stance. What was it? Well, Abba and Preach were always off to me. They always shifted on stance according to where the popular opinion was. Yeah. Guys like that get on my nerves. Here we go. But I'll say this, when it comes to Preach, I don't think he's that bad of a character. I think a lot of people get Preach wrong. But Abba, to me, he's a sleazeball. And I'm gonna continue to use that term sleazeball. He's just, like, I remember I was talking to Reaper about this when Reaper was on the panel. I said Abba is the type of dude to accidentally fall in love with your girl or something like that. He's the type you would like, somebody where you would have never thought, and then basically you have to let it go and then just accept that, hey, my girl fell in love with my best friend. I might just have to just let it ride. Like, he's the type. Abba's the type where, oh, I accidentally fell in love with your girl or whatever, or he that's the type of dude he really is. He says they have no ethics or values. Yeah, exactly. Guys like, especially Abba, he stands on nothing. He stands on nothing. Oh, I'm neutral. I'm on the no, you're not. You're chasing the money. You're chasing the clout. You're chasing you're going the political way. The way where nobody can call you an evil or a good guy. That nobody can call you evil. Everybody else is crazy for feeling the way that they're feeling. No. He says, I hate when women who act like they are repulsed by you start trying to be buddy with you and ask personal questions, especially when you are not in the mood. XVY Jay-Z says, and then he'd gaslight you after taking your girl. Yeah, I slipped in and fell in. He's the type. I know it, man. I know it. Because the dudes that be enthralled with your girl and then they actually take it there, it's always the guy that you didn't even think would do something like that. So it's the guy you wouldn't even think that would do that. Oh man. He said, as an entrepreneur, today I worked 13 hours and I didn't have time for this married food runners question. Oh man. XVY Jay-Z says, I don't know why you are so upset, bro. We match on a metaphysical level head. He's the type to get tight at you. He'll be mad at you for your reaction to it. Like, you'll have an out-of-pocket reaction, and rightfully so. And his friends will be mad at you for being super mad because he's like, oh man, he's such a good guy and all this stuff, and he's cool. I can never OD trust somebody that's cool with everybody, meaning nobody's iffy about you. You're just, everybody aligns with you politically and all that. Nah, something's up. something's up. Because even I'm talking about as low key as I am, there's still plenty of people that understand kind of how I roll. You know what I mean? Because I've even had people say like, "Oh, I thought you were a little bit meaner, but you're not that mean." Or I need to do this a little bit more. I need to open up a little bit more. There's still people still prod me, but I cannot trust a person OD where everybody likes them. Nobody thinks you don't do anything wrong. You just align with everybody politically, socially, spiritually. Huh? And on top of that, they're super social too. I can't trust nobody like that. I'm like, oh, that nigga a politician. When I see somebody like that, I'm like, oh, that nigga a politician. Or you'll see like a girl like that. I'm like, oh, she just trying to, you know. And in this shit, like, oh man, like this the shit where you have these dudes. Well, they'll always have their girls surrounded with all these other dudes. Like, I don't know how people do that. This is why I've accepted my L when it comes to women in terms of this. I've always said this, and people actually, there's a lot of dudes that will disagree with me, but I've always said that, I don't OD want a friendly woman. If I had if I had a girlfriend, like a personal girlfriend, right? I probably, due to my personality, it might not be the best decision for me to have an overtly extroverted type of girlfriend, and like a girlfriend that's an extrovert, a girl that's overtly friendly. You know what I mean when I say that? So, because I understand what my personality is. So, I might need one of those girls where the average guy is gonna be like, "Oh, she's stuck up." I might like if that happens. If I have a person, I'm talking about like a main chick, she might have to be stuck up. She might have to be one of those stuck up bitches because I understand how my personality is. And there's really a lot of guys you gotta do that trade-off, because there's a lot of dudes like, oh, I want my girlfriend to be friendly. I want her to be personable, and I want her to be a gamer and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay. I don't think you guys can handle that, because if you actually have a girl like that, it's gonna be dudes texting her all the time. Just understand, you have a girl that's actually personable and she's gonna be having dudes texting her, and you're just gonna have to accept that. But it's a lot of guys out there, they can't even accept the trade-offs, right? So there's things that even dudes, I gotta tell dudes like, look, you gotta accept the certain trade-offs. You gotta accept. Do you want a friendly girl? If you have a friendly girl, you're gonna be having a lot of dudes. Because at least if you have a stuck up type of chick, you can be like, hey, why is this dude text? Like, what's going on? You don't even roll like that. What's good? Or you won't even have to even worry about that shit at all. So this is, you gotta accept. You gotta some places you just gotta accept your L, whatever side you choose. But this shit where it's like, oh man, I just want a girl that's open to all and include. Nah. Oh man. Oh yeah, the part-time Latinas. How's that coming? I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But it's just that day I was struggling. Dude. There's like a group, like at the job that I'm in. There's literally a group of young Latinas straight off the boats. Like, I'm talking about a group. They're loud as hell though. They're loud as hell. But it's a group of them. They'll be hanging together. They straight off the boat. Straight off the boat. They're in their 20s, right? But I'm sitting there like, but I remember it was like Yeah, it was, but yeah, this specifically one of them. It was like one of them walking past, and she was wearing something. I was like, oh my god! And on top of that, the other lady, older lady, but she still looks good. And then I'm talking, bro. Do you know there's the the place that I work at? It's older broads on there. They got BBLs. If I'm lying, I'm dying. If I'm lying, I'm dying. They got this is women on the floor that got BBLs. Mind you, it's a warehouse like setting. It's a warehouse like setting. They got BBLs. They got BBLs. Now, obviously, I'm not attracted to the the broads with the BBLs, but I'm talking about there was the one lady I was literally working next to. She was built right. She was built right. And I'm literally dealing with that, and then I walked to the other station, and then I'm like, I was literally feeling like Uncle Ruckus. Yeah, I was like, dude, I left my station sweating like a slave, and it was not off the physical labor, because the job that I'm doing is not, it's not the part time I'm doing is not, it's not physically taxing. It's not. There's no physics. There's nothing physically taxing about the job. But I left that station at that particular moment, and I was like, my God, like I was sweating off of the pressure. I was literally sweating off the pressure. I couldn't, I was like, I can't do this for some. I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. B. Waskin says, I'd rather have a stuck-up anti-asocial GF that hates all men but you. I will just say this. The perfect girlfriend for me is the one that I worked with. Like, I remember I was working with this one girl that I knew she had a boyfriend because I saw how she interacted with everybody else. I never saw her flirting with nobody else. A lot of dudes, what happens is they'll talk to a girl and then they'll take it personal that she's not kind of giving you choosing signals back, or she's not trying to entertain you at the job. So they'll say, oh, she's stuck up. But I was watching her. For some reason, I just happened to just really watch. First of all, because she's pretty to look at. Just to keep it a buck with you, she's easy on the eyes, right? Black girl too, mind you. And I just happened to just watching her, and she don't chat it up with nobody. I'm talking about not even the girls over there. She wasn't chatting up with the girls. She wasn't chatting up with the boys. The manager coming around, she wasn't saying that. I'm like, And she ended up warming up to me because I always respected her her distance every time we talked, right? And so she ended up opening up, and then we talk. But every time we talk, it's always at a safe distance. But with everybody else, it was the exact same energy. Never buddying up with no. I was like, oh, she got a boyfriend. I'm like, she got a dude. I know she got a dude. I know it. Trust me, I was like, nah, she got a dude. Because there was other dudes on the floor, and women they don't mind the attention. They don't mind. They don't mind the attention. She really wasn't about that life when it comes to that. Like she wasn't. She's like, mm-mm. And she was very measured. I'm like, that's the time. I remember seeing her and really analyzing her, not on some creep shit, just really just seeing her character. And I was just like, you know what? I wouldn't trip if I had a girl like if I had a girl like that, I could literally just go to my job and just not worry about anything if I had a girl like that. Because it was people at the job saying that, oh, she don't talk to nobody, she's stuck up. I'm like, oh no, she's not. And in my mind, I'm like, nah, she's not stuck up. She got a dude at home that don't play. I know that. That would be the perfect. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm already attracted to you and then you act like that. You know what I mean? Bravo to her guy at home. You know what I mean? B. Watkins says, personally, I am suspicious of overly friendly people or nicer. Yeah. This life ain't that cheery. He said, I heard BBL stink. Right. Nah, it's a bunch of look, okay. That's that. Yeah. So shout out to B. Watson. Says Latinas coast off the carbs going to their rear end in their youth and surgery. You will rarely, if ever, see them squat to get an actual rear. Yeah. So it's either it's a lot of Latina bras. They'll get a BBL or they'll just coast off of how their body was built in their youth. So I have like I said, it was like older women, obviously. She's no more than like she's definitely not no more than she's definitely not over 40, but she's probably up there in her 30s, right? She has a daughter, right? But she was built right, and she was wearing a little bit less that day. I don't know why, but she just was. And then on top of that, then she took her jacket off to let because she was feeling hot a little bit, whatever. Then those girls came through and was walking. I was like, I can't handle this. I was like, I can't do this. I'm like, I was literally like, I cannot do this. And mind you, I'm gonna be open with you. I've worked at Amazon before, and you'll see broads. I'm talking about young broads coming out there with biker shorts, showing off everything, and that's just it is what it is. But I don't know, that day that I came to you guys, I was like, guys, I humbly come to you and say, I don't think I can do this. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this for long. I told you, I was like, I'm gonna slip up. Dude, even like I remember one of the the real older ladies, like a lady that looked like she was in her like late 40s. She got a BBL. It looks good though. I'll give her credit. It looks like one of the older ladies that work over there, older Hispanic lady. She got a BBL. So I really actually gotta look at the company and be like, wait, where did you find these bras? Hopefully I'm not working at one of these spots and it's like it's like this is the shit that they give they're working girls. I hope I'm not working with working girls. Because all of these most of them they don't speak English, bro. Where I'm at, most of them they don't speak English. So they had me working with the lady that can speak the best English out of most of them. But I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. She's pretty. She's pretty, even though she's older. She's pretty. So it's look, I'm weak. I'm weak right now. I am weak. XVY JC says, please clip Abba crashing out for a soundbite. Yeah, well, you can just hear it in the background. He's so beat. He's so beat. Oh man. Says she also neglected to mention the other cooker Simps. She has a boyfriend. I found out quickly, hence why she never got a free meal from me. Oh, is that the same girl that you were saying that I'm thinking about asking? Like, whatever girl that you find pretty at your job, she has a man or a kid. She has something, especially if she's pretty. Please, she got somebody's. I will say somebody's to be quite honest with you. But it's like one thing that if there's something that you can pass off some wisdom to a younger man, right? Any young man that is younger than you, if you find, I would tell that man, look, if you find her attractive, trust. Oh, is she single? No woman is ever truly single. There's really no such thing as a single woman. That's cap. Like maybe if she's like superbly ugly and she has like a terrible body shape, maybe. But if she's especially if she's not even fat, come on, and she's like of a certain age, if she's and especially if she's in her early 20s, and you think, oh, I think I can work with something here. Trust me. Dude, I remember one girl that I was working with at Home Depot. I would have never thought she had a boyfriend. And then I just remember I didn't even think she had a boyfriend. I'm not saying she was ugly, but she was like she was a young Hispanic woman. She probably was 19 or 20. She could not be no more than 20 years old, right? She was either 19 or 20. Oldest maybe 22, but definitely no more than 21 or 20. I just remember just talking to her, and it seemed like she was just a normal, teenage girl going through it. Then one day she just disappears. Just disappears during her. She doesn't really come back from her 15-minute break. Like, yo, everybody like, yo, where's she at? And then I just remember she comes back to her station. Her station was right next to me, and she's just like, I'm pregnant. Cause she came from, and I knew what that means. She just came from the bathroom, OD throwing up. She just came back. She's just like, I'm pregnant. And that was the first time in my life I didn't say congratulations. I felt so bad because I was just like, oh, damn. I gave her a real ass response. I was like, damn. I don't know why I did not say congratulations. I don't know what I just felt really bad for her. Like I really felt her. I actually empathized with her at that moment. I was like, damn. But first of all, I would have even never thought she had a boyfriend, let alone get pregnant. Cause she didn't even, I'm not saying she was fat or skinny. She was like one of those in between type tortas, if that makes sense. She wasn't fat or chubby, but she definitely wasn't skinny either. She's just like one of those, give it 5 years, then because she's kind of built a little bit weirdish. You can tell she's never done sports in her life, but she's just going, I'm pregnant. And then it was like 2 weeks after that, she left. And then apparently she was like, I'm talking about over 6 months pregnant, and she didn't really know until like, apparently she was like in denial the whole time, but she was like pregnant for a while. It was like, apparently it was something deep like that with her, but you would have never thought. So even the most obscure girls, they're never single. They always have some dude in the background. They're fucking with somebody in the background. If some dude asks, hey, should I ask her out because like, is she taken? Assume that she's taken. And assume if you are asking her out, you're competing with somebody else. You should already know that as a young man, Yeah. He says, yep, she got a man or two, a few simps, or some kids, especially if she's attractive. There's no way. Like you there's no way. Absolutely no way. Now, if she actually really is single and attractive, you got to be scared. Especially if she's social. She's a woman that be talking to people. Yeah. You better be scared. That means she is batshit crazy. Let me see. B. Watson says, that said, the chick I like that my job isn't pretty. Let's say I just like her calmness, but then again, for all I know, she's messing around. Oh yeah, she got to do. So she's also in her mid-20s and older than me. So yeah, every chick I worked with, bro, they had some kind of a boyfriend. Especially every young chick that was in their 20s, they was not single. It was probably maybe one or two chicks that I came across. Every I'm trying to think. If I did a survey at my job, particularly when I'm talking about those young Latinas that I'm talking about, if I did a survey, I'm pretty sure most of them have a man or have had a man. It's impossible. It's like the bar is super low, bro. You know? He says, but you're right, Chris. I personally just kind of feel desperate in a way. It's been a hard year for me. Alicia Lou made me a simp. Alicia Lou. He says, I mean, she seems like really introverted, but she just started looking at me in the eyes and smiling at me. So like I know she worked there for years prior, but I never liked her. It's really recent. I remember I told you about the girl that I was working with. Like I'm not saying she's into me, but what she wants me to be the simp boyfriend. She wants me to be that person at one point. I don't think she really wants me to do that anymore, thank God. But it would be awkward sometimes because you will just be talking about some regular shit and then she's actively OD trying to catch me, looking at her at the same time as she is, and that shit can be awkward, especially if she's trying to get actively chosen. I gotta, that should be awkward sometimes. I'll admit it. I remember specifically. Yeah, it was after a performance, and we were just talking about normal shit, like literally normal shit. Then all of a sudden, the amount of time she's catching my eye at the same time as I'm trying to look up, and it's clear and obvious. It's clear and obvious. And you're just like, oh man, I can't do this shit. I can't do this shit. It's literally in my mind. I'm like, I cannot do this right now. I'm too broke. I'm too broke. I don't want to do this because I know if I'm with her, I'm gonna overexpend myself. I'm gonna do shit to overexpend myself and start making a little bit more money and then put myself. Nah, I'm not gonna do that to myself. I'm gonna stick to the plan. Well, there's not no specific plan, but the plan is to escape my 20s without having a kid. Because I know at least by the time I hit my 30s, I'm going to relax a little bit more and I can really start looking at things clearly instead of getting clouded by my lusts. And that wisdom is starting to kick in right now. So I'm not OD overexpanding myself. I'm not chasing. I don't feel a need to chase, right? But it's almost, yeah, exactly. He says mission impossible, especially if you're around a girl that likes you and you're just like, oh my God. The goal is the trick is if you can find a girl that's it's just a lust thing. So if we're just hooking up for a little while, but she gets to move on because she has other guys in her sphere, that's kind of like the trick to kind of getting around that kind of nonsense. But oh man, especially when you in your 20s, like especially if you're of similar age, that should be, oh man. I would say especially if you're of similar age. I remember the one girl I told you I had to stay away from because she literally has a boyfriend. They live together, but she's actively choosing on me. And I'm just like, yo, you gonna get me killed. You gonna get me killed. Literally. I'm not trying to get killed by this dude. There's no way. There's no way. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. He says, your lust girl. He says, that was my scare. He says, ain't no way ever again. That is the risk when you're dealing with your lust, girl. You can get caught up like that. Don't ever, I'll say this to you, don't ever trust her when she says, oh, I'm on birth control and you can just finish inside me. Yeah, that's a trap. That's a trap. That is a whole trap. I don't even know why bitches be lying about stuff like that, but that shit, and especially when they'll tell you when they'll just tell you when you're in the heat of the moment, and then most dudes end up falling for it because it feels good. Yeah, it feels good, and dudes get caught up in the moment, and then boom. Now you just knocked up a single mother. You know what I mean? So, so that's, oh man, that's the trap. It feels good. B. Watkins said most dudes can't even think about that stuff 2 minutes into the future. Yeah, it's tough, especially like I'll say once you're, especially I'll say when I was 21, oh my God. When I was 21, I was reckless. I ain't even gonna hold you. When I was 21, yeah, 21, 22. Oh, I'll say this. I'll tell you this. I'll keep it a buck with you. I remember in 2020, what's it yet? When I was 22, I had an STD scare. And then I found it out that then I found out it was just I already had something wrong with what's it, my kidneys in general. So apparently there was already something wrong. But I thought it was dude, I'm like, I never go dirty dick bitches again. I was sitting there crying because I didn't know what I caught, but apparently there was actually something wrong with my kidneys. It was just the timing of it was just crazy at the time. And it was low-key a blessing in disguise during that time because I finally found out what was triggering all of my stomach problems of the past. It was a kidney problem that basically went undiagnosed. I'm talking about this whole time, and I'm like, oh, I get it. When you're, first of all, if you're a Twitch athlete, because I'm a twitchy athlete, right? When I was doing sports, I was very twitchy. So food is not gonna do anything for me, really. So the food that I gotta consume is way different. You know what I mean? Especially when I was really training, when I was doing sports and all that stuff, when I was in my athletic prime. Really, the amount of pizza I gotta eat, the amount of food that I need to eat is not gonna be the normie serving. So that also goes with water intake. And I was massively dehydrated. Because I thought, okay, I can just drink my little water from here and there. No. The type of dude that I am, especially with my metabolism, I have to drink way more water than the average person. So I've been doing that, I will say, for the past, I can say specifically because I remember in 2024, 2023, I think I had a a kidney stone for the first time. Oh my, that was the worst pain I've ever been in my life. And then that's when I'm like, yeah, this is like the amount of water that I need to consume. Now I'm actually starting to gain weight. It's crazy now how this is working now, where basically now I'm actually starting to now I'm starting to gain weight. Now, really, my metabolism is slowing down a little bit more. So, because I'm not running as I'm used to, but now back then I could literally not gain weight to save my life. But now with my consistent water intake, but the water that I'm intake is more, it's more than the average. And then the more water you drink, the more food that you can consume, right? Even though I would recommend not doing that. But now I understand what, like, when I was at that age, now I understand what's wrong with what was wrong with my body. It was just like the water intake, like, that I need to have it needs to be way more than the average, right? Even the food that I intake, it's got to be way more than the average. I just wish I knew that sooner, because the pain that I used to go through, bro, like, literally, especially when I was especially when I was in high school. Oh my God, the stomach pain that I would get, it was just crazy, just excruciatingly bad, But I understand what those attacks were. It was my kidneys. So it's sad that I had to come to that conclusion myself. But this is where you, like, especially when you're dealing with certain doctors, you got to make sure you're dealing with a doctor that understands what you're going through. Or you actually get a doctor that's used to dealing with athletes, or that's dealing with a certain type of person, and they understand why. I'm like, okay, why am I burning muscle and not fat? And the people just, no, just eat more, just eat more. Nah, it's not that easy. If you got it, I remember when I told somebody here, I was like, if you want to gain weight, you got to make your water intake, or if you're taking creatine, if you're taking these powders, your water intake needs to go up, like way up, like really, 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 like way up more, like way up, if you really want to get some results, especially if you're taking creatine. You're really supposed to be taking the creatine in cycles. I don't take creatine, by the way. I'm just telling you, knowing from experience from the people that I know that took the creatine, yeah, they got the results, but then they end up having like really bad stomach problems because they're not really having the water intake that they're supposed to have with it. So these are like lessons that I've learned from other people, watching them go through it, watching the stuff that I had to go through. But now, especially for the past 2 years, really consistent on my water. You know what I mean? Now it's starting to show. Now it's like, okay, now I look like I'm at a healthy weight. Now I haven't really been working out as much as I should, but now now I look like I actually eat food. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? And part of that is getting older and my metabolism slowing down, but yeah, a lot of people that are low on sugar, a lot of that is dehydration. Their water intake is not like, you need to, like, some people, they need to drink a lot of more water than most. I'm one of those guys, right? I just have to drink a lot more water than the average. Because really, most people, you don't really need to drink that much water, really, in general. But some people, they need it. Um, I remember another trainer. He was talking about that he condones. He's actually pro dirty eating, right? There's certain athletes, they can afford to. They actually need to eat dirty because they need the calories, right? That's me, right? But that really didn't. Now looking back, that's what led to a lot of my injuries, because I actually used to eat a lot more healthier when I was in high school than I was in middle school. But I had a lot. In middle school, I had like zero injuries, zero. In high school, my body was just breaking apart, and I didn't know why. Even though I stopped drinking soda in high school, I stopped uh, eating like junk food, and my body was breaking down for some weird. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I'm healthy. I don't. What the fuck's going on? But really, my body needed fat to burn, and the water intake needed to be more up, and then it had to make more sense, you know, and it had to be proportional to how much I was working out and how much I was expending energy, you know. So now I understand. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too late now. I understand how my body works. I completely understand how my body works. I know how to heal myself if something happens. But these things, you, for some weird reason, I don't know, the doctors, you know, post Obama, to be quite honest with you, they've just been terrible. Like, I remember back in the day, like I remember pre-Obama, the healthcare that I was getting from my parents' medical insurance was top tier. So if something was wrong with me, like when there was something wrong with my stomach or something happened to me, they were actually able to fix the problem where I wouldn't need help anymore. But it's like, yeah, post OBZ, anytime I had something wrong with my body, the doctors made it worse. Oh man. But anyways, yeah, coconut water, that definitely helps. Fruits, you need to get your fruit intake needs to go up. Watermelon, but I'll say fruits in general. Watermelon definitely helps. You can stay hydrated by eating watermelon. But yeah, my fruit intake has been up, you know. And then you got to research what kind of fruit you're eating, and you know, all of that comes into play. But anyways,
Because
what? You're dead to me. What else do you need to hear after that? Like, it's kind of pathetic to stay on this call and still explain yourself. Have some self-respect. Move on with your fucking life.
I'm going to do that after
Then
this.
take your crying.
I'm going to do that.
I don't
Sorry,
believe you.
sorry,
You
I'm
don't
kind of,
understand boundaries. You don't care.
sorry, I'm kind of
Like,
like,
you are pathetic. Move on with your life.
hey, I'm pregnant.
I
And
don't
like
like you. I don't want anything to do with you. How much longer do you need to hear
this,
that?
all of a sudden,
I was turning into Future. I never liked you.
after the conversation last night, because I was your number one priority. You left, did the dancing thing to talk to me. You said anything
wow,
for
it's
you.
It's almost like crazy that when someone's not your partner, they're no longer a priority in your life. Wow. Mind blowing. Yeah. We're done. You're dead to me.
Yeah, but like,
How's that all complicated? I'll fight for somebody who's worth fighting for. Last time you proved your word, I was fighting for, so I'm not going to make an effort for you anymore. You're not a priority.
I'm not
terrible.
asking
I don't care about
you
your opinion. I don't want to hear your thoughts. I don't want to hear your opinions. I don't want to have anything to do. You're having a baby. I don't care. I'll never want to know anything about that.
you
So if you want to have it,
because
do it.
why? Because I told you 5 months in that we were having issues, and like,
You'll never know. I will never explain anything to you. You will never get me to look into your eyes. I will never speak to you again. I will never share my thoughts with you again. I just want you gone.
Because
that's
you
all
know,
I want. Like from the bottom of my heart, I just wish that I could wake up tomorrow and know I never hear from you. That's like the only thing I want. And I would feel amazing. Isn't that crazy? And you refuse to like grant me that. Like, you're
no,
just
I will grant you that.
parasite.
Stop saying I'm always going to be a
You've
parasite.
never granted me that.
I'm
You
going
are a
to.
parasite.
He's calling her a parasite. Let me drink this water real quick. I didn't even finish this water. Damn, I'm slacking. But yeah, usually if I can, I try to get 4 to 5 water bottles in every day. I know that's a lot. Or I'll get like 4 to 5 glasses. But at least if I can at least get 3 in, I'm good. But that's what I try to do.
You send your friends to blackmail me. You always ignore when I tell you I don't want to talk to you, and then you just keep reaching out to
Because
me.
I'm pregnant and we need to figure this out. I'm pregnant. We need to figure it out.
Pregnant, whatever. I don't care. That's your problem. That's your responsibility now. You cut me out of it. Cool.
So I'm harassing you. I'm telling my friends, hey, Abba, unblock you because I need to talk to you about the baby. And this is literally just last night. We broke up last night. I need to get in contact with you because And so you're saying I'm harassing you today because I need to get in contact with you?
You're after harassing me. The last couple of weeks and months, you've been like, I don't want to have the baby. I want to have the baby. Now all of a sudden you want to have the baby. You want to keep in contact after breaking up. You're a fucking clown. All right? What are you doing with the baby? I don't care. I will not let you hang over that shit over my head. I want you gone. Even if it means I don't get to be in my child's life, it's a great thing because it means you're gone. You're horrible. So I just want you.
Why am I horrible? I need to know.
You texted me about this shit.
I need to know, how have I been so horrible to you? You wanted to marry me. You got me a promise ring. You wanted to move me out there. You wanted me to get my visa. This was yesterday. And so all of a sudden I'm horrible and you don't want to have the baby with me. This is you were saying this all to me after before last night. So why am I so horrible, Abba? We won't talk after this. We won't talk after this. Why am I? Because
you're not going to get it. You're not getting the explanation now.
You never get it. Yeah, and you never heard what I had to say about if I had the baby. You think I'm going to stay here?
I don't care what you're going to say. I will never be involved. You understand? You can literally be next door to me. No, you don't understand. You can literally be next door to me, okay? If anything is connected to you, I want it gone out of my life.
Guess what, Abba? You're stuck. You're stuck, brother. You're gonna have to you're gonna have to look at other alternative options, which is gonna make you you're gonna have to look at some alternative options, brother. You stuck with this broad. You stuck. She didn't get what she wanted out of the deal. Now you stuck with her.
You know, every time we get in a fight, and again, this is fine, it's fine. But every time we get in a fight, you say the worst things, and you call me out of my name.
I don't care. I don't care.
And then
a day, you won't stop harassing me. I didn't say anything until you harassed me.
So
you know what?
So before,
I don't really care. You don't get to harass somebody, blackmail them, and then be mad at their reaction.
So
I just want you gone. I try to say it kindly. I try to say it.
You've never said it kindly. No, you just blocked me. You just blocked me, and I'm here with your. You blocked me, and I'm here with your baby.
Here we go. Mom, Libby's a victim. She's always a victim. We'll get it.
Okay, I just want to know if you're going to be proud of this conversation.
What?
Proud? I don't know. All I know is that there's one outcome I want from this conversation. I want you gone. I want you gone forever. That's all I want. That's all. Truly. I don't want to say anything bad about you. I don't want to talk about you. I never want to hear from you again. But you insist on contacting. You left DMs placed. Police read them. Now it's a conflict. You cried drama because that's what you wanted to do. So you did a great job. Now I hate you even more. So
because
you probably don't care because you're a parasite and you like knowing that I have some emotions about you.
No, I've never been that way. And you know that. And that's why you freaking fell in love with me. And that's why you like me, because I've always been honest throughout this whole thing. And I've had integrity. And even when we fight, I don't say half the stuff that you say. You regret everything that you say when we fight. You know that? You regret everything. And knowing how you are, you're going to regret tonight and how you've been with me.
Thank you. You're so considerate for telling me how I'm going to feel in the future. You're great. You're a really good person. Anything else? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get rid of you.
You act like I'm like I do this all the time. I'm trying to figure this out because of the baby, and maybe I'm.
You actually, one thing that was funny. You messaged me the other day, and you're like, "Oh my God, Kimmy's so fucking annoying." I'm thinking as a girlfriend. All I was like, "No, you're horrible, girl. You're so difficult." But now hearing you started to just praise yourself all the time, it makes me laugh a little bit. You're incredibly difficult and annoying, and you're proving it again now with how you're harassing and blackmailing. But I just want to get rid of you. I just want to get rid of you. How do I get rid of you? I don't want to hear your explanation. I don't want to hear your theory about how we can co-parent. We will never co-parent. I want you gone. How do I do that?
You didn't even hear what I had to say about the stuff in the beginning of
I don't want to hear about your co-parenting or how you want to do it, how you want to move close. I will never look at that child. You understand? I will never spend time. I'm going to make my own family. Be married with somebody, my own kids with them, and that child will never be part of that. And I don't want them to be.
So 5 months in, I don't feel like it's a right to abort the baby.
Interesting. Let me rewind that. Let me just make sure I heard that right.
Be married with somebody, my own kids with them, and that child will never be part of that. And I don't want them to be.
So 5 months in, I don't feel like it's.
So apparently this is popular now to think this way. Yeah, literally Tommy, it's a lot of dudes that got vilified for this same stance. You know, that's quite interesting. But it looks like for the rest of the I don't really feel like looking at the rest of the argument because it seems like they're just repeating themselves. But let me fast forward a couple.
It's a right to. You just told me you were going to be there for the baby.
And you're going to think you're talking about how you're a good person.
And then I sent that to my friend, and they were like, "That's fucked up. I can't believe Abba would do that to his ex-girlfriend or whatever because he broke up last night." And you don't.
What's wrong?
Abba, I expressed that to you tonight.
Trying to convince me. Why are you trying to convince me? I don't understand this call.
No, I'm telling you what I'm hurt.
Done that for at least 15 minutes. You're not going to get that blessing.
Abba, I only said that because. Are you going to listen? I only said that because. Abba, I only said that. I didn't waste any of your time. 5 months is a normal time to break up with someone because you behave like this.
He's losing his mind. I love it. He's losing his mind.
How do I get rid of this parasite?
I only said I was going to do that because you're going to tell everyone I blackmailed you, but you're not going to tell. But you're not going to tell them. Okay, the blackmailing.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, I think you're a horrible person. I'll never not think that. You can
because I sent a message showing that you're going to walk out on the family. Because you're going to walk out on the.
She went through his whole family, went through texted preach. And then she didn't there was a lot of content creators coming forward saying that Libby contacted them. So basically she contacted all of Abba's ops. She said she contacted Myron. She said she contacted a whole bunch of internet creators that basically were enemies of Abba, at the people that didn't agree with Abba and stuff like that. So it's very She went out of her way to paint the narrative that Abba's a deadbeat, but it still didn't go through. Like I said, there's certain people that's not gonna work with. It's certain people that's not gonna work with, man. So certain people, they're too connected. Just they're too connected.
The baby.
And I was always thinking a piece of garbage.
Because
if I ever had the misfortune of meeting a child, I'll look at them and say, your mother's a garbage person. And that's the reason I will never be in your life. She tried to blackmail me. She tried to harass me. She tried to harass my family. And unfortunately, I just had to
what? How did I harass your family? You're just like saying stuff now.
She's so garbage. You literally just damned Preach, and you're a retard. You actually might be one of the dumbest fucking persons I've ever met. Now my friends actually know, and so thankfully Preach is a decent person who won't tell the others. But you're so goddamn stupid. You don't even know who else has paid to be my sister and the other people who work for me. But you have to be a dumb fuck and then tell other people that you're pregnant that you're not sure you're gonna keep or not. I just want to get rid of you. I hate you.
So you're mad?
I hate you so much.
Because
I hate you. So I don't want to hear it. But you know what? Actually, what am I doing? I'm actually getting more negative feelings about you the more I listen to you, and you keep on me on the line. So you're gonna have it. I told you my wishes.
Hey, this whole phone call.
Shut the fuck up. I don't want to do this. I'm gonna have to hang up. Don't ever call me again.
How about
Damn, son. Basically, yeah, anybody else that would ruin their career. Anybody else. So I think, yeah, the next what my goal is, let me see if I can do this. Yeah, the goal for me, because if you search up Abba pregnancy, this is what pops up. They make sure out of the first 3 videos that you see, they don't make it obvious. They don't make it the top search, but they make sure they include Abba's side on this, and it has way more views than anybody else.
So what do you mean you?
So I think, I don't know when I'm gonna do this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna do this, but I will have to definitely react to. I will definitely have to react to Abba's response to all of this. I definitely got to do that. Yeah, this is all for show, bro. This is all for show. Look at me dancing to my own music. This is all for show. I'm so unbothered. Here we go. But anyways. Yeah, my comment right here says LMAO, the red pill is undefeated. Oh man. Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely do this at another time because this is an hour and 50 minutes long. Oh man, there's no way. Ainsley said, "What did I walk into?" Shout out to Ainsley. Oh, shoot. I remember. Oh, by the way, Ainsley, am I allowed to tell them what happened? That might be too private. But shout out to brother Ainsley in the chat. Shout out to brother Ainsley in the chat. Yesterday he had to do something. I don't know if it might be too private to tell everybody else. So yeah, what's it? Yesterday was brother Ainsley's birthday. Just to let you guys know that, yeah, that might be too much information, but it was his birthday yesterday. So yeah, if you can wish Ainsley a happy birthday in the chat, W for Ainsley in the chat for his birthday. You know what I'm saying? But what you just walked into is something very interesting. Pyro say, wait, he's in his 50s? Oh man. But what you just walked into is a narcissist meeting his fate, if that makes sense. People might, like I said, you like I've been subscribed to I've been preach for a minute now. You know, I did have liking to them at one point, but seeing what they are, seeing what they've turned into, or but really just seeing what they are, I've lost a lot of respect for Abba. Now, preach, I actually don't mind that much, even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says or his stances, but I don't mind preach, believe it or not. It's Abba, I don't trust him, right? Now, unfortunately, he's going through the ringer right now because he's been trying to deny reality for a minute. He's one of these guys that likes to stand in the middle. He likes to talk crazy about the red pill whenever he can. He takes the lowest common denominators, the lowest hanging of fruit, to describe the red pill space for cheap views. There's a lot of content creators that do that, but he's one of the main people that do it. And it's interesting what he's going through right now with his girl, or sorry, with his ex, is literally everything that we warned guys like him. Specifically a guy like him. We warned him about evil hoes like that. But for some reason, when we talk about evil hoes, every woman gets offended, even though I'm just talking about evil hoes. You know, so it's just like, what the it's very interesting, right? But he thought all that grandstanding, all that simping, all the lecturing, all the shit talking he's done with everybody else when they get caught up with the hoes in their lives, he thought that was, I don't know, the way he was talking, he just thought it wasn't going to happen to him, you know. Certain dudes on YouTube, I give them passes because at least they will acknowledge that they're not above getting played. They're not above getting done dirty by a broad. And the reason why spaces like this exist is because we understand, when you really look at the nature when you're dealing with an unhinged woman, the difference between an unhinged man and an unhinged woman is that there are no laws to stop an unhinged woman. There are no laws to stop her from extorting you. Yes, there's a couple of things that they could do, but there's really not much you can do. So now Abba has an unhinged woman on his watch, on his hands. He got played. And now he's stuck. Now, at first, he has a lot of positive, meaning he has a lot of support from the normie fan base because the normies love Abba and preach, right? You know, the general public, which includes me. That includes me, right? So he's going to get that public support at first because people see Abba as a positive, a quote unquote positive male role model. So now, even with all these things that really point to him really being a potential deadbeat dad, even him basically admitting on the phone call that, look, I want nothing to do with you as a woman. I don't want to do nothing with you or the kid that you kept, right? Anybody else that would ruin their YouTube career, if this happened to anybody else, Abba would be talking crazy about that dude. If any red pillar got caught up in something similar, he would be talking about it. Now they're trying to flip the situation and just make it seem like, oh, he's just dealing with a toxic person. No. What you're dealing with is something that any woman could do to the average American man and get away with it. All the stuff that they said that, we're just bitter and hurt. We're just making this stuff up. It finally happened to him, and he refuses after talking all that shit about the red pill and what male content spaces, all the stuff that he shitted on. I'm talking about he went out of his way to shit on. Is now gonna have now he's facing the judgment of it. So he's winning in the public eye for now, but I'll say this. I will be surprised. I want to see if she has more information. I want to see if she has more screenshots. I want to see if she has more things to show the public. And we'll see if if the public stays on his side, because it's rare that the public will stay on a man's side. And usually where you have it where the public is on the man's side, usually that man is dirty, right? So we talk about Barry O, Sleepy Joe, who else? Who else am I missing? But the normie public is protecting Abba because he's supposed to be the positive male role model. They don't want dudes looking up to other people like Bottom G and Fresh and Fit and all these other. They don't want the men looking up to them. They want men looking up to Abba because they're using Abba for another purpose to control. For control purposes, for political purposes. I wouldn't be shocked if Abba gets involved in politics, later on in his entertainment career. I wouldn't be shocked if he starts getting more political, or if he gets offered, a TV show to do, what's it, to do something on Comedy Central or something. They're good. That's why they're trying to preserve his image for now. He said, sounds like he had rose tinted glasses on. Oh, he did. He did. But that it happens to all of us. This is why you try to warn people like that. But guys like that are very arrogant for their, they're too arrogant. Too arrogant for their own good. XVY Jay-Z says Abba doesn't take accountability but loves to hold RP dudes accountable. I'm talking about he would go out of his way to take the lowest common denominator, the easiest, the low hanging fruit, and try to hold them accountable to a standard. And I used to say this on this channel, like, look, if you're sexually active, this can happen to you. Like, there's no avoiding this. Oh man, Corey Holcomb was just talking about this too this Tuesday, because Darlene Ortiz was talking about, well, is there any safe way for a man to? He's like, no. If you having sex with a woman in America, this can happen to you. Hell, you don't even have to be having sex with a woman for drama to come your way. It's been dudes that got accused of assault and then they never. They do their investigation and then the girl will admit they just found the guy weird, so they made up an assault. They made up a case on him. So this is when you're dealing with somebody that unhinged, and then you have a whole system that supports their unhinged, if that's even a word. You're dealing with a very dangerous predator, and you must proceed with caution. So if you have a sexual relationship with that woman, you need to be very careful. You need to be crossing all your T's, dotting all your I's. You need to make sure, look, if I'm dealing with this woman, you literally gotta deal with it. Like you gotta be careful. People are wondering people will wonder why are certain male celebrities, they will pass around certain, female jump offs in the industry, because they can't afford to be with a normal woman, because a normal woman will put you through something like this. Even though you have like such a big platform, you have such clout, you work for this fame, you work to get to the status that you need to be, but then a normal woman could literally pull your rank and file down to her level. So this is why like a guy like a Abba or a guy like anybody with fame, they can't deal with a normal woman. It's too much of a risk to their brand. Even if she was there from the beginning, that's the risk, right? But especially in Abba's case, since he's already famous, you can't if you especially if you become famous, you can't get a normal woman after you become famous. That's no, that's a no-go. You're setting yourself up for failure. That's not gonna work. He says there are no solutions, only trade-offs. But that's really I know you said CGA said it, but that's a Thomas Sewell. I hope I'm saying is that how you say his name correctly? Thomas Sewell. I don't think I've ever said his name correctly. There's a guy. He's a lecturer, an intellectual. I like to call him an intellectual, right? Thomas Sewell. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. That's his quote. You know, there's no solutions, only trade-offs. You know, so if you're dealing with women, especially today in this day and age, you just got to understand what you're dealing with. Do not underestimate her. Whatever situation you're going in with that woman, whether it be boyfriend and girlfriend, marriage, whatever, one night stand, jump off, whatever if she has an open relationship, whatever dealings you're going through with her, just understand you need to go in fully protected. And don't think because you entered a situation with her, because you entered this type of situation with her, you're completely foolproof. Not in America. Not in America. You know. There's a lot of sound bites I really should add, but it wouldn't. Low key, I gotta make because I don't want to do this. I don't know if Ainsley's still listening, but because we're of similar background in terms of our parents weren't born in America. Well, I don't know. I think I don't know what Ainsley's parents, but we have a similar country background. We share the same country in terms of the background, but one day I might have to make a separate channel or a separate Instagram or something where I have like all these, these Creole backgrounds. There's a lot of scenes that I could use. That would be like killer sound bites, like killer cut scenes, but they're in Creole. They're in Creole. So it would be perfect. There's a lot of shit I could use. There's a lot. I'm talking about from pastors that I could use. Haitian pastors are the funniest. Haitian pastors are hilarious, bro. These guys are these guys are great entertainers. I got to give them their props. African pastors too, African pastors, but there's a lot of things these Haitian pastors be saying. They be having me crying. Yo, especially I'll say like when my grandpa used to preach when he was back when he was healthy. Yo, this dude used to have me. Yo, I used to be like, yo, this dude, wow. But anyways, I'll leave that alone, man. I'll leave that alone. I gotta one day, not one day. I think tomorrow we gotta go over Abba's response, or hopefully I find the short version of it. Hopefully I find the short version of this nonsense that he's doing. So one day I'll find the short. I'll hopefully I find it. But I guys, I know that the volume's off. I'm just trying to skip through to see where I would cut it off. I probably would cut it off. Damn, yeah, they went through the whole thing. It looks like. When did they cut off the video? Because I'll definitely go over all these things tomorrow. I don't know when would be the best time to actually do the live stream though. But anyways, I'll leave that alone. Oh yeah, I remember somebody was asking, yo, why don't you trust the lead attorney? I'm like, that nigga a lawyer. I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. I don't trust no lawyer. Fuck. This guy is a self-proclaimed former divorce attorney or current divorce attorney. I'm like, so he's been part of literally the separation of familial structures. And we giving niggas like that the benefit of the doubt? Nah. It almost reminds me of like you'll have these dudes, they will recommend certain female streamers, and I'll ask, and I will literally ask people, I'm like, why do you follow this particular female content creator in the male space? Oh, she talks about accountability and what women need to do. I'm like, bruh, if there was no lane where women could monetize off of repeating our talking points, do you think there would be any women in this space? If there was like no way that they could monetize off of it, do you think there would be women, quote unquote, taking accountability? It would literally be zero. it would be literally zero. I only like I said, there's only like one that I like. It's literally only one. But it'll be a bitch that's like, I'm talking about, it'll be a bitch that's single, no husband, no nothing, no ring, in the male space. Talking, and they're saying that, oh, she's nah, bruh. Come on now. What was that girl's name? I'm blanking on her name. That everybody was liking at one point. I think wasn't her name like Billy Ray Brandt or something? It was like Billy Ray Brandt. That was her name. Yeah, Billy Ray Brandt. You have was it Brett Cooper? Real Femme Sapien. These guys, these were straight grifters. Like it was pretty obvious to me, but you got what's her name? Courtney Ray. Then you got Melanie Kings. It was a lot of women that kind of came in after Kevin Samuels got viral. And then you started seeing, the flood of female content creators kind of invading the space. But it's a free country. They can do whatever they want. But to me, the worst of them was Samantha Lee. Yeah, Samantha Lee. She was the worst. Like, imagine she's talking about men knowing their worth and how women need to take accountability and doing all these saying all the talking points, and then simultaneously dragging Tyrese in family court. I mean, it don't get any more blatant than that. That's crazy work. But Samantha Lee, she had like a shit ton of subscribers. Let me see if she still has her channel. Yeah, she got 420,000 subscribers. Good Lord. 420,000 subscribers. Love Samantha Lee. Like it was easy for her to move up in the algorithm because she's because of the obvious. So she had to this is interesting, her grift is crazy. So she stopped making like male related content when people started catching on to who she was, and now she started shifting to more Christian based more spiritual based content. But even then, that's a crazy grift, because what kind of spiritual person does what she does, do what they did to Tyrese? Like she she destroyed that nigga. Oh Lord. Now she's doing more Christian related content because nobody's really buying her relationship content, you know. Oh man, yo, this girl, oh boy. But she was able to move up the algorithm because she's light skinned and she's pretty. So that's as it's that simple. It's that simple. By the way, let me because there was a content creator that showed me support yesterday. I forgot what her name is. It's a married woman, by the way, a married woman. She gave me support yesterday off of a video I did. I'm blanking on the content creator's name. Yeah, Blunt Girly. She's married, by the way. She's married, by the way. So I don't know what her content is OD about, but she said that she liked the video that she liked specifically was the one that I did on Tyler when I was calling out older women for hating on specifically older black women for hating on Tyler because of her body shape. And she was saying that her and her husband happened to be watching my video. they said the exact same thing that I said. Now, I'm just taking her word for it, but it's rare that people will acknowledge the truth, the cold-blooded reality behind, the Tyler hate. And I said the same thing. I was like, look, I'm not even a Tyler fan, but I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, why is she getting all this hate? So I don't know what her channel is about. It seems similar to what I do. So and then I see a channel like this. I see the video title like this. It says Beyonce is aging. I'm like, oh, she petty. Oh man. So I'm gonna take a look at her channel because she did show support. She is married. She has her situation, right? Her view count is very interesting. Some of the titles on this is very interesting. So I gotta check out her channel. So I definitely gotta take a look. I gotta check her channel out, But I gotta be, but like I said, I gotta be careful with that. I gotta make sure I'm promoting, the right people as well. Let me check out, now that I have the time, let me check out one of the videos. Oh Lord, look at this. She's queer. She says queer male dating coaches who give straight women bad advice. I was talking about this. I was saying a lot of the problems that straight women are running into is that they're taking a lot of dating advice from their gay male best friends, even their sexual dating advice, meaning like the recklessness, the sexual recklessness that a lot of women have. That's because of in terms of not protecting themselves. You have a lot of you have the what's it, the woman on the Call Her Daddy podcast saying that she hates condoms, and I was warning people about that too. But a lot of that sexual recklessness that comes from the dating advice from their gay male best friends, because we already know with gay men, they don't fear disease. Unfortunately, they're just reckless. Like during even when like AIDS was at like its highest peak in the 80s, like they literally had to beg gay men to stop sleeping with each other. Like they just couldn't stop them. So that cohort, that group, when it comes to sexual discipline, when it comes to sexual advice, they're just gonna tell the girlies just to do what they want. Just do what you want. Don't worry about disease. Don't worry about STDs and it, because that's just how they do things. So this is very interesting. Let me check this one out real quick.
Y'all, so as you know, my content lately, I've been on these people's necks because I just feel like it's so much trash advice and trash content creators that are just literally trying to keep their light bills on. So they'll pander to you, they pander to you being heartbroken, they'll say whatever nonsense. And me as an authentic, genuine person, I remember when Tony Gaskins actually he started exposing like the frauds. I can see why he did that because it's frustrating as hell when you are a YouTuber and you're just sincerely trying to help people. Like I have no agenda, I'm not faking, like I'm not saying one and all
Why are BWs taking relationship advice from gay black men?
they do is
Even I remember something interesting. Was she says why black women are so hurt over Clay and Megan's breakup. But even let me give you an example too. Let me give you an example before I sign off, where you'll have there's the prevailing thought. There's this new thing that black women have been doing, where basically they'll look at a square black man that's probably not thug or not talking in a certain way or not behaving in a certain way. It's a regular black dude, and what they'll say is, "Dang, it looks like you're either gay or you date white women." Like, so they're trying to say that it looks like that you're either gay or you're dating white women. That prevailing thought that came from gay black men. Or I remember it was a specific gay male content creator that said that. I don't remember his name, but he was the one that put that thought process in the lexicon, right? So this is where they get a lot of their direction from. This is something that we really, but anyways. I'm looking at some other videos. He says when interracial dating doesn't make sense. This is interesting stuff, man. This is some interesting stuff. She said unhinged ways that I scare myself into staying in shape. That's interesting. But anyways, I'll check her channel out. I think in my private time. It's interesting that they like the Tyler video. That's very interesting. That is very interesting. Because it does come into the, the theme when I start highlighting the jealousy. Even when it comes to, female jealousy, male jealousy. It's just for me, it's too easy to spot. It's too if you like Tyler, that means you like woman with a high school body. She looks like a high schooler. No, Tyler looks exactly like a woman that's in shape. So no, ma'am. Lose the weight. Don't be shaming other people. She's literally the same body type as Janae Aiko, but you love her. But you hate Tyler. The fuck? What are we doing? Let's not do that. Let's not do that. You're never gonna convince dudes that fat women are it, and then especially with the introduction of the GLPs and the Ozempic and all that stuff. I don't even want to hear that shit no more. Amy Schumer of all people, yo, Aaron Clary was ripping her a new one when he saw that photo of her losing all that weight because of Ozempic. Aaron Clary ripped her a new one. It was hilarious. But anyways, tomorrow, should I say tomorrow? I don't know. Because tomorrow I want to go to New York tomorrow. So I don't know if I could say tomorrow. But I do want to do this as soon as possible. So I'll say Monday or Tuesday, I will go over Abba's response. So shout out to you guys, man. I'm going to sign off. I went on a little bit more than I thought. Let me just look at these last couple of chats. Is it because so Pyro said, is it because Tyler doesn't claim being black or she's not fat? It's the latter. Those other things about not claiming being black, but that means they would not be fans of Cardi B and other people. So it has nothing to do with that. It's because Tyler's young, pretty, and she's in shape, but specifically she's skinny, right? And she's light skinned. Yeah, yeah. There's no way. And then shout out to Anime Dude with the $5 super chat earlier on, and Pyro with the $2 super chat. Thank you guys for the donations. Take care, guys. Oh yeah, Ainsley, shout out to you, man. Take care. I will do the ABBA response video on either Monday or Tuesday. I'll let you guys know. My outro video will be the girl that was bragging about being with the the blood diamonds dealer. But anyway.
I hooked up with a blood diamonds dealer in South Africa, and then we took his private jet to like a gorilla reserve in Uganda where we like exchanged diamonds for cash, and then we flew home.